streets, that's my whole gospel. Crash and burn, gonna learn, die on this hill. Head first, it's a curse, going in for the kill. Rise up, lock in, man, it's go time. By the one-way ticket to my own grind. Feeling primitive, in it just to win it big. Don't want a little bit, get it when I flip the switch. I like the feeling when I fucking win. I wanna do that shit again and again and again. I have one speed, no brakes, full send. You know it's sink or swim, all the pressure is a friend. I'm attacking it, trapped in the depth, and I'ma make it happen. I'm the captain, I'm steering the shit straight into the madness. Like a canvas, I'm painting the vision, never going back. And I just wanna fucking ball, push until I let go. I feel the surge of adrenaline. Come on, I feel the blood pumping yet again. I feel the drive, I just wanna win. I feel the car rain coursing through my fucking skin. I'm locked in, maxed out, no plan B. I push the chips to the middle, that's everything. Risk it all for the person that I wanna be. Won't stop, that's the version that I'm gonna be. I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push my mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's turn on the cameras here. Busy day, Monday. Complicated Monday for sure. A lot of complications. Freaking system didn't want to cooperate with me today for some reason. It was like, fuck it, we're going to fuck up your show today. I'm like, okay. I'm already used to it, StreamYard. I'm already used to you messing up my show. I had to delay the show by half an hour because like StreamYard went crazy and it like turned green and then turned like a different color and then it went all black. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I had the show all set up and I was like, I had everything all ready. Nope. StreamYard wanted to come and play their little bullshit and I know it's because they're adding this Christmas pack bullshit because they're always updating every day. They're always doing some update and they're always messing up the system. Today, it took me half an hour just to try to figure this out. But I got it fixed and hopefully it doesn't mess up the show. But hey, Albie, hey, Chloe, what's up? How you guys doing? Man, it's just been a little rough start to the show, but it's Monday, you know. I took the weekend off and the whole world went fucking crazy. Like, what's going on? I was like, I hope everyone has a great weekend. And next thing I know, people keep making mistakes, people killing each other. Like, there's so much bullshit going on. It's crazy. But let's get straight to the news and let's go straight to the first one of the night. Benny Johnson, let's watch.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. Remember that one time when female FBI agents literally got down on their knees to pledge fealty to a terrorist group that was occupying our nation's capital with the Antifa and BLM protests? Amazing times. They got on their little LARPing FBI flak jackets and wore their little badges.
Yeah, I was like,
and
I had a hard time getting the show started.
BLM, at least those who are so physically capable of taking a knee. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they are still working on their knees. Nobody knows because they're all fired. Everybody in this photo has been relieved of duty from the FBI because, well, obviously this is a practice in total humiliation. I guess there was one dude. Can you even call this guy a dude? Look at him. You're FBI, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't even actually get down on his knees. What a disaster. Maybe we should not be hiring activists inside of law enforcement, and maybe there are some people that just aren't cut out for it. Remember when President Trump was shot in the head? Most people do. There was one agent that really caught a lot of people's attention. We call her Melissa McCarthy, or Lady Ghostbuster, right? She is the Lady Ghostbuster who used President Trump's body as a human shield for herself. Just a reminder, and we still don't know who this is, but Lady Ghostbuster here was, instead of covering President Trump when he was shot, she knelt down behind him to use Trump as a human shield for her. Okay, you should never work again. And then when President Trump was taken to his waiting vehicle, she didn't know how to holster her weapon. Remember this? Yeah, look at that. I guess I'll just hold it. Yeah. You gotta be able to perform under pressure in jobs like this. It is absolutely critical. It's life or death. And sadly, what we've seen in a place called Bondi Beach is that there was most likely more death than needed to be when two Islamic radicals, Muslim terrorists, who were imported to Australia by the Australian government to slaughter their own people, the actual native people of Australia, Australians who built Australia, were sitting on a beach. These are beachgoers that were at a Jewish festival. We'll never know their true motive, right? And two gunmen, father and son, went to the same mosque, decided to open fire on them and murder 12. But the horrific reality of this is that it could have potentially been prevented. because the cops that were there were police officers, all over the place. The cops that were there didn't do anything. Bondi Beach terror survivor describes how cops froze during 20-minute shooting rampage. I don't understand why. Look at this. Look at this photo of the female cops sitting there. I don't know, surrendering? What the hell is she doing? They said that the female cops froze during the massacre. They could have actually engaged the killer and the killers and prevented the wanton death of 12 Australians. Here are some of the photos of the female cops freezing. Here's another photo of a female cop kneeling behind a car. Remember this? It's like, it rhymes, right? George Lucas. It's like it rhymes. Look at that, kneeling behind the car instead of engaging the actual terrorist. The hell do you think your job is here? Again, we pay this person, this individual who used Trump as a human shield, Melissa McCarthy of the Secret Service, who used Trump as a human shield, gets paid by us to protect Donald Trump. This individual and this lady, they get paid by the Australian taxpayers to protect them. Like, not only she's not protecting anyone, like nobody even respects what she's saying. Look at this dude just walking by, and these dudes, like, they're not intimidated. They don't understand or care at all. 2 female Australian cops froze during the attack, allowing more lives to be lost. Australia terrorist who killed 10 people has been identified as Naveed Akram. Results of mass migration. The Australian government imported terrorists, allowed their citizens to be slaughtered. Look at this. What a monster. Incredible footage out of Australia confirmed that the brave bystander neutralized one of the terrorists, the Bondi Beach attack, which took place at a Hanukkah gathering. Australian authorities say multiple people have been killed. 2 suspects are in custody. This is one of the bravest and most insane videos I've ever seen in my life. So during the actual shooting rampage, see here.
Yeah,
during the actual shooting rampage, where the 2 gunmen were able to just stand on a bridge and wander through this beach area, and people are driving by, nobody does anything. They're just able to like sit there. Finally, somebody steps up and does this.
Oh!
And takes him on. And then takes his firearm from him. Disarms the terrorist.
Should have shot his ass.
It's one of the single bravest things I've ever seen done. It wasn't a cop. It wasn't a member of the police. It wasn't a member of the armed services. It was literally a dude. Dude subdued the shooter in Australia, an absolute hero. He went directly into harm's way to save people from being shot. God bless him. Who is this dude?
His name is Ahmed Al-Ahmed, and he is recovering from his wounds at the hospital. You can see him here with New South Wales Premier Chris Minns. Ahmed's immigration lawyer says he is a humble man. He's not interested in coverage. He just did what he was compelled to do as a human being on that day. The lawyer went on to say this is his way of conveying his gratitude for staying in Australia, for being granted citizenship.
Wow.
So there you go. Ahmed Al-Ahmed disarmed 1 terrorist with his bare hands. God bless you, sir. He was wounded in the exchange, but it saved lives. Ahmed Al-Ahmed. He's a father of 2 and a local shop owner. He was shot twice during this unbelievable act of disarming one of the terrorists. He's undergoing surgery. Again, one of the single, like, whatever you want to say about it, it's the single bravest thing I've ever seen done. And it's what you've, like, got to do in a situation like this, because obviously these guys, not trained professionals, one person can just step up and do what needs to be done and make the difference. This is why I like our Second Amendment. Second Amendment saves so many lives every single year, because people know that you're packing like people know that everyone is carrying smoke, everyone is carrying heat. And so expect to be met with equal and opposite force. Bondi Beach terrorist was wearing a Pakistani cricket jersey on his driver's license.
Hey, Terry, what's
picture,
up?
so he's from Pakistan. Islamic terrorist number 2.
Guns don't kill people.
But they were just able to sit there and open fire for 20 minutes.
Guns is an accessory.
And now the
people,
absolute dipstick
guns
of
don't kill
an
people.
Australian prime minister says the true threat is right-wing extremist groups after the Islamic attack yesterday. One of these men was banned from Australia. That's right. Incredible. What a lost civilization. No, don't go quietly. Men and women of Australia, stand up, save your great nation before it's too late. Please. Please. Your country's gone insane. We need remigration and mass deportations now. There are some civilizations that are not harmonious or compatible with Western civilization. And it's time for us to just accept that reality. It's Boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.
All right, let's keep it moving, Benny, because we got a lot to watch. Here's another episode of Jason A.
We're interrupting regular programming with an update on the mass shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island.
We are following another deadly mass shooting, this one in Australia, where police say 2 gunmen opened fire on Sydney's famous Bondi Beach, killing at least 11 people.
Crazy.
One of the suspects also is dead. Another is in custody.
This after 2 American soldiers and 1 civilian interpreter are dead after an ambush in Syria. 3 U.S. service members were wounded in the attack. U.S. Central Command confirming the shooter was a lone ISIS gunman. The attack on U.S. troops is the first deadly attack since the fall of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad a year ago. We will continue to track this story as it develops.
But this idea that, I mean, if you can't be safe in the Macy's in Manhattan and you can't be safe on a college campus, it really shows you how much, just how much important it is for Americans to protect themselves, to be vigilant in just the times we're living in.
Yeah, and you were, quite frankly, never safe anywhere this day and age. I was just in Providence, Rhode Island a week ago, and it is a very safe place. And I grew up in New England, so Providence, Rhode Island, this sort of stuff doesn't happen there, but that's the problem. It's the new norm.
The United States of America has failed us. Our government has failed us. Gun violence is running rampant in our nation. And tonight's mass shooting in Providence, Rhode Island at Brown University is just another example. We've had more mass shootings than days in the year, consistently, year over year. I spoke to the National Gun Violence Vigil this week where I told them about how this country has normalized a culture of gun violence and how as a reporter, I will never normalize that culture. I remember in the 7th grade when we had an active shooter threat on campus, and for 4 hours, me and my friends armed ourselves with scissors in case an attacker came to our classroom. We boarded up the windows and built up study cubby forts. Back then, I prayed that no other 7th grader, no other student would have to do that. Over 10 years later, here we are. 2 dead, 8 others in critical condition at Brown University. Students studying for their final exams.
I wonder what type of scissors, because they have like safety scissors.
And why the hell would we ever normalize it? This should not be normal. Not in our country, not in any country. And that's all I have to say tonight.
This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Hanukkah, which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith, an act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
Israeli officials say they warned their Australian counterparts about the possibility of an attack against the country's Jewish community. Jackie?
Okay, thank you. And what's the latest update on the ambush on U.S. service members in Syria?
Yesterday, according to U.S. Central Command, 2 U.S. soldiers and 1 civilian were killed, 3 others wounded when a lone ISIS gunman ambushed an anti-ISIS patrol near the city of Palmyra. All of this taking place as American forces remain on the ground in Syria to assist with the anti-ISIS coalition. This attack was condemned by Syria's new government and President Ahmed al-Shara and the country's interior minister. President Trump, when he was leaving to Marine One yesterday said that the United States mourns the loss of these American service members. And he went on to say that there will be retaliation following this shooting in southern Syria.
Which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith, an act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
Our heart bleeds for Australia's Jewish community tonight. I can only imagine the pain that they're feeling right now to see their loved ones killed as they celebrate this ancient holiday. It's a responsibility of all Australians to wrap their arms around Australia's Jewish community and help them get through this incredibly difficult period.
Israel's president praying for the victims.
Our heart misses a beat. The entire nation of Israel misses a beat in this very moment as we pray for the recovery of the wounded. We pray for them, and we pray for those who've lost their lives.
In terms of that level of probable means there's a 50% chance, so 1 in 2. Of course, that doesn't mean to say there's a connection to an immediate attack following this one. That is subject to our ongoing investigation. We have no indications that that is the concern at this stage.
In this moment of darkness, we must be each other's light. Hold on to the true character of the country that we love. Australia is stronger than the cowards who attacked innocent people today. Australia is braver than those who seek to make us afraid. Australia will never submit to division, violence, or hatred.
A call for unity in the face of horror.
Vice President Vance called the shooting terrible news, and President Trump spoke to reporters.
So I've been fully briefed on the Brown University situation, what a terrible thing it is. And all we can do right now is pray for the victims and for those that were very badly hurt, it looks like. And we'll inform you later as to what's happening, but it's a shame. It's a shame. Just pray. Thank you very much.
And tell us, we can't imagine being in this type of scenario that you were in. How are you emotionally? What went through your mind when you saw that text, when you spent hours barricaded, hoping to remain safe?
I mean, I think it's everyone's worst fear that never seems like it will actually happen. It was incredibly surreal to be part of that experience. And I think initially we were all in complete disbelief. And even here, I think everyone doesn't really know what to do with themselves right now. And it's just been really scary to know that 2 of my teammates left the study room that the shooting occurred in 5 minutes early to go to dinner, and their lives were saved because of that. And I think it's just really telling that this is something that's so scary for all of us, and it's a repeating pattern that has to be addressed with legislation.
And Talia, you worked here at Channel 5. You were an intern, and we this is the business that we're in, and they're horrific stories day in and day out.
Crazy, right?
This is real life for you right now, and I'm so sorry for you, and I'm glad you're safe, and I'm glad you're okay. And it's just devastating that this is why we're talking tonight on a Saturday night at 10:40 at night.
It's worse here in America.
I'm so lucky to be safe, and I'm so grateful that my family, which lives nearby, is also safe.
That's everything, my dear. That's everything. Talia, we appreciate you, and we're glad you're okay, and we're so sorry for what happened at the place that you call home. And we wish you the best, and we thank you for taking the time with us. And
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason A. Great upload there. Let's bring it back to me. That person who was on the phone, whoever was talking there, what a fucking idiot. She's like, yeah, I'm safe. And also my family that's like a few miles away, they're safe too. Bitch, we ain't talking about your family. We're talking about what's happening right here. Crazy. Yeah, my family's they're okay. They're safe in Hawaii. How is that relevant? I don't know. But yeah, the Muslim invasion throughout the world. Because remember, they this is how they conquered back in the days. This is a repeat cycle. This is like it's like a ring around the rosy, merry-go-round, wherever you want to call it, Ferris wheel. It's just a repeating and repeat, and history will continue to repeat. And how did the world conquered the world? By invasion. You know, you think the United States was just all United States and we just came out of nowhere? Yeah, we came out of nowhere and we killed all the people and all the indigenous people and the native people that were here, and we pushed them to the brink of little tribes and little camps, and the rest were sold off as slaves, and the rest is history. And here we are, United States of America. Congratulations. What's your reward? Here's a bill. Pay it. Oh no, it's not good. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on with the news. We got some news out of Connecticut. There's a big water main break in Waterbury. What a place to break, right? The place, the city, the town name is Waterbury, and Waterbury is now digging because their water main broke, and now that city and surrounding cities are without water. No water. And it's a big, big, big news that it's getting and is gaining national attention. So let's go ahead. I got about 3 videos for us to watch about this water main break out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Here we go.
Restaurants across Waterbury have been told to close down because of this water main break, but some still remain open.
Yeah, and there actually could be consequences coming for those who don't follow the rules. Your reporter Katie Cohen continues our coverage. She is now at 5 to explain. Katie.
Mark and Aaron, Freet Street Grill is closed for the night, but they were open all day today. They're doing whatever they can to keep their doors open while following guidance.
I feel bad for them.
But some are not. I stopped by several
It's
restaurants
really
today.
bad.
Some of them were boiling water to use for cleaning. It's a risk considering a restaurant crackdown could be coming soon.
Ooh.
It's been disaster.
It's things like plastic cutlery and paper cups that are keeping Freet Street Diner open.
We don't use nothing through the sink. I have water here, but they told us we cannot use it. So not a problem for us.
They're buying bottled water to use in their coffee machines, but their bottom line is still taking a hit.
Oh, you should not drink that soda. That water is not safe. That soda machine. Oh, Lord.
Waterbury Health Department officials say they visited restaurants over the weekend and told them to close because the water may not be safe.
Oh, my God. You know how much money this is going to cost?
No food service operations can continue in those conditions unless they have an alternate water source that is not sourced
Yo,
from
Terry,
the
this is
public water supply.
bad.
Officials say boiling water is not enough, and restaurants doing that could still face violation orders. Those come with potential fines
really?
and even
Oh, you're not going to
license
be far from me.
suspensions.
You are not going to be
Deli's
far.
on
When you
Road
doing
says
that?
He hasn't heard from
Terry?
city officials, but they are open, just without a soda fountain that runs on the city's water supply.
It is holiday season. We're very busy with catering, so nobody wants us to close down.
For both restaurants, it's becoming a balance between business and safety.
As an owner, you have to do what you have to do to survive and keep the customers happy, and safety is more important, you know.
To hammer home why filtering your water isn't enough, we are in the midst of neurovirus season. Those filters can filter out sediments, but they're not going to stop the bacteria that will make you sick. Your reporter, live in Waterbury, Katie Cohen, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Katie, thank you. And of course, we know
That is, listen, this is not good for Waterbury. And we're talking about thousands upon thousands of people live in Waterbury. And remember, we did a story back in the day out of Waterbury. Remember the shooting at the mall, at the Waterbury Mall? Well, that's Waterbury. And guess what? All those restaurants got to shut down because there's no water. no clean water. All that water that is being pumped up, it has contaminants, it has dirt, it has bullshit in it, and it's not safe for consumption. Oh man, Waterbury, you're fucked. And I'm sorry, but I have an aunt that lives in Waterbury. I don't really like her that much, so oh well, too bad. Um, but I also have friends that live in Waterbury, and I hope they make it through. They got family in other parts of Connecticut, so it's not a problem for them to go or to go shower and stuff like that. But it only sucks because you can't. You have to drink bottled water. You gotta. It's. Let's continue because we got more news to watch on this. Let me do some housekeeping real quick. Actually, we got a few more than that. 1 second. Actually, I got 4 videos on this, so give me 1 second. I'm trying to fix everything here. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. Kara Sundlin coming to you from our streaming center. Thanks for tuning into WFSB Plus. You've been watching a news conference with several Waterbury officials about the nightmare situation with the city being out of water. Many of you under a boil water, all of you under a boil water advisory, and many struggling because you haven't had water in some days now. I want to bring
Oh
up
wow,
on the
down
biggest
Bridgeport. No, I don't live down that way.
out of this news
Hell no.
conference that's just wrapping up
Down
right now.
Bridgeport.
Number one,
Hell
there
to
will
no.
be no
Hell
school
to the
in
no.
Waterbury
No.
tomorrow. This is because many of the schools run on old-fashioned steam boilers, and it wouldn't be safe to get everyone there. And then there's a problem as they're trying to turn the water back on and have all the kids in the school and an issue happens. So there is no school tomorrow. It is not because of the boil water advisory.
Yeah, I know. You
which
told
is
me.
still in place in the entire city.
I have a cousin that
Something
lives
else
out that
we
way,
learned is you're going to
but
tonight need
she's
to help the
far
city
gone. She's a
as they
jughead.
start to get ready to put the water back on. It can't just happen immediately. What they want you to do is, if you have a tub in your house, open up your tub by essentially turning on your water, but you're going to hear some loud clanging and water air coming through the system. You're essentially, if you had old radiators and you have to bleed them each year, you're bleeding the system. They need to get the air out of the system. The officials saying if they just turn all the water onto the city, it would be catastrophic. They cannot do that. Even though
below the
they're
pipes.
doing well with making the repairs. The next step is, they really stressed, we have to go slow, or we could have major damage to homes and businesses. So again, if you're just tuning in,
This is going to be
WFSB Plus,
bad.
there will be no school in Waterbury tomorrow because they're going to try and get the water back on, and they need it to be safe in some of these schools where they have steam boilers. They're also asking you to continue to boil your water, and that may happen for days. Right now, they're going to have you
that
open up your
sucks.
tubs. And for those of you,
They
many of
should
you
go
who
to the
don't have
natural
water and
spring
haven't had
and
it for
get
several
natural
days
spring
now,
water.
that air is going to go through. As far as being able to drink the water, we're a ways off from that. The officials said in the news conference that if it was like a perfect rainbow situation, you might be talking about Thursday, but it could be longer. So really what's going to happen is once the water gets turned back on and it's flowing into your pipes, which will happen, it will be very discolored. So they need to get the water to run clear before they can test it. And then those tests have to come back clear and safe before you could drink it. So when the officials were asked, like, what would be best case scenario, he said that would be his rainbow dream would be Thursday. But I think you're going to want to plan, if you live in Waterbury, for longer than that. We also learned from health officials that any restaurants operating in Waterbury right now, many of them are closed, but those that are operating should not be operating if they're using any city water, because restaurants, according to the FDA guidance, are not allowed to operate if there's a boil water advisory in place in the city. And right now, 100% of Waterbury is under a boil water advisory. This was something new to our reporter, Owen Kingsley, and many of the others there saying, you know, that they were talking and people were washing dishes at restaurants with boiled water. Apparently, according to health officials, they're trying to get the word out that that is not okay. That according to FDA guidance, which restaurants are supposed to follow, they cannot operate with city water when there's a boil water advisory, even if they're boiling their water and washing the dishes that way. Let me just look at my notes here and make sure that I get you anything else that you need to know. I think the big thing is going to be that if you are home tonight, they're going to want you to open your tub. And as soon as that water starts to come out, he wants you to then shut the tub. Don't leave it running. He said if too many people, 40,000 people all turn on their tubs at the same time, just let it go, they're going to run out of water. So we need everyone to go slow. That was the theme.
Oh no, this is going to be a nightmare.
Get everything back to normal. We need everyone at home to go slow, but you will need to open up your tub to allow some water to come out. If you don't have a tub, if it's just showers, you're going to open up some kind of water in your house, probably the shower, let it trickle. As soon as you hear that loud, that clanging, the air coming out of your system, you're going to know that's happening. As soon as water starts to flow, then you turn the water off, and that means you have bled your system. So once again, schools will be closed in Waterbury tomorrow. You do need to maintain your boil water alert until further notice. Best case scenario, we are talking about Thursday. They are still going to give away free water bottles. That's happening now. And they're going to be doing it at various locations throughout the city. There was some thought that if they couldn't do it at the schools tomorrow, you'd have to go somewhere else other than Crosby School, but that is not going to be the case. Schools are going to be closed. So from 9 to 5 tomorrow, they ran out at some of the sites today, as Sierra Jordan was reporting. So definitely by 5 o'clock, they think they're going to have it back open. They're also giving away bottles that you can pick up at Home Depot at cost to the city. As far as who's going to pay for all this, that is a question that will be answered down the road, but they are hoping that Governor Lamont gives some state funding. We are covering this for you. As you heard, Owen Kingsley
is really, really
live
bad
right now. He's down there, and he's on Eyewitness News at 4, also on the WFSB app. So again, no school tomorrow, boil water advisory, and best case scenario, we are talking about maybe Thursday if everything goes perfectly before they get clear samples back and you can actually drink your water again. City leaders saying they know this has been frustrating. They've spent $30 million to make the system work over the last year. They're clearly going to have to spend a lot more money. And we're going to follow all of this for you, every angle of this story, keeping you updated about when you're going to be able to drink that water again. For now, I'm Kara Sundlin. I'm live here in the digital center, bringing you everything you need to know about these updates. Kids are going to get holidays. I'm sure they're excited about that.
Well, it's a snow day. They'll
update you on starting on Eyewitness News at 4. For now, everyone, just hang in there. Definitely be safe. You are not to be drinking this water right now. So again, no water drinking for right now. We will continue to update you on this water main break and the repairs that are in process. Are you going to get it fixed, the Xbox? And we'll keep you informed. For now, we're going to send you back to WFSB Plus, and we'll have the latest as we learn more.
All right, let's bring back to me. That's really bad news for Waterbury. Just letting you guys know. I'm just going to watch a couple of more videos because I'm really interested in it. I'm invested in it. Let me see how I'm going to set this up. There's a couple of ones here. Okay, so we got that one. Let me just do some resizing here. That is horrible. We got a water main break like that. It just like paralyzes the whole city. Let's see. We got. Okay. Okay, I think we got a setup here. Of course, the sound went out. I don't know if I'm going to be with StreamYard long. I think I'm going to see if I could go through another company. It's just, I don't like the service. Like, it's just, I don't like their setup, and I don't like how it always cuts the sound. Let's watch.
All right, and as work continues on fixing a major water main break in Waterbury, the mayor says the damage is worse than expected. It's left more
Which Xbox you have,
water
Terry?
in the area since Friday. NBC Connecticut.
I have the Xbox One.
More on the city's latest update and what people are saying there.
You can still see the work being done here on Thomaston Avenue. We're actually just located a little bit south from the Winn-Dixie Cafe, for those familiar with this particular area. And they've been here over the past few days trying to fix this water main. And the mayor says expect that work to continue for at least the next few days.
It's a blessing to be able to get some water.
A blessing many drivers in Waterbury were grateful for, with many homes still without water in the city since Friday. All this stemming from a major water main break on Thomaston Avenue caused by a smaller one on the same street.
This morning, there's nothing. It's completely nothing there. Just you open the tap, nothing comes out anymore.
Mayor Paul Pernaruski says the damage was worse than expected. The pipes on Thomaston
Series
Avenue,
X.
which are about 100 years old, were washed out underneath and have collapsed. They were able to shut the water off in that area to begin work on fixing it, but held back on the timeline.
We're going to continue to make not just repairs, but upgrades as we go forward. That's something that we're committed to.
The mayor says Waterbury Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital are
all those
supplied with
pipes
water, and both
in
are fully
Waterbury
operational.
are
Also says
old.
water service has been
They're all
restored
going to
in parts of
start
the city,
popping.
including downtown in the Bunker Hill Town Plot and the Country Club neighborhoods.
Especially
But
now
the mayor made it clear it will likely
that
be
they're going
days
to
before
pump
full
the
service is
water
restored
in.
to the whole city.
It's
I want
cold.
people to know that we continue to work around the clock to find solutions to this.
I don't know,
appreciate
man.
the patience.
The infrastructure
of
sucks in
He says in the
Waterbury.
meantime, fresh, clean water is being given at distribution sites at the Municipal Stadium and Crosby High School every day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. or until supplies run out. The mayor says this will continue until water service is fully restored across the city. Neighbors were happy with a quick response.
I'm really appreciative with what's going on and giving out the water.
That distribution powered with the help of local volunteers.
It's really an honor to be out here to help people, in a very challenging moment around the holidays, and to be out here.
I heard they're going
with
to
my neighbors and
activate
friends to make
the
sure that our community gets the resources and water that they need.
the
The
military
mayor is also
to help.
reminding parents that there is no school on Monday due to the situation for all Waterbury public schools. In Waterbury, Jeremy Chen, NBC Connecticut News.
All right, let's keep it moving. Keep it moving.
And despite city distribution center efforts, people are still desperate to find that water. Families are also preparing to have kids home from school tomorrow. Your reporter Katie Cohen shows us the reality many Waterbury neighborhoods are facing tonight.
People have been coming here to this natural spring on Waterville Street all day. Even after dark, you can see there are people waiting in line here. They've brought water bottles and buckets to fill with water. Then they're using them at home for their showers and dishes.
We don't have no water, nothing coming through the pipes. Can't brush our teeth, take showers, so we have to come
That
here.
water is actually
fill up,
really
and then
good.
go back home.
That's spring water.
You may take for granted that are now issues for Waterbury neighborhoods.
It's a blessing to have this water. You know what I mean? Water is expensive.
Natural spring
I went
water.
to the store twice this morning to purchase water. I spent about $60.
People are so desperate, they're even filling coolers with spring water
Oh my God.
and finding ways to keep clean.
What is it, a measuring cup?
Yeah.
And you wet yourself first, lather up, rinse off. You got to get creative.
Showers will be available Monday at the Greater Waterbury YMCA, but you'll need to sign up for a time slot. As water is hard to come by, Reese Blathers is finding alternate options.
I bought wipes, baby wipes, so that to help with the hygiene.
Her family is facing a big impact of the water main break, school cancellations.
I'd rather be safe than them be in school and not safe. So I think it was a good call.
Here's a list of the closures for Monday, including all
Waterbury's
Waterbury
like a
and Wolcott
maze.
public schools. Decisions about opening schools will be made on a day-to-day basis. Over at the Home Depot on Main Street, there are more efforts to help. They're filling buckets for free, but you'll need to bring your own bucket. They're running out. No matter where you get your water, it's a community effort.
The guys here, they helped me. You know,
here.
They carried my barrels. My son
Actually,
here
they
helped
sell
me.
water.
So it's been great. Everybody is helping
There's
one
places
another.
they have
Your
natural
reporter in
springs
Waterbury, Katie
that
Cohen,
they
Channel 3
sell
Eyewitness
also
News.
water for cheap. And I think if you're out of Waterbury, they'll give you a really they'll probably give you the water for free. All right, let's keep it moving. See what else we got here.
Waterbury plan is now in motion tonight to get water back to thousands of homes and businesses. But still, city leaders are canceling school again tomorrow. Your reporter Owen Kingsley is live on Thomaston Avenue to explain the very latest on this plan. Owen.
Okay, here's a little bit of a closer look at some of the work going on behind us. This blue tower
This is a
over my
nightmare.
left shoulder, that's actually going to be one of the bypasses that they're installing right now. That's how they're going to get the water around this break. And over on this side, you'll see water gushing out of that pipe there. That is water being released from the water main break right now, just traveling down Thomaston Avenue. Right now, the city estimates 60% of residents do not have water. That's 60,000 to 70,000 people. City officials broke down their current plan that
70,000.
could mean clean drinking water in your faucet in a matter of days.
No,
Waterbury City
they have to be
officials say they
tested.
need
Do
to
not
repair
drink
a
that
leak
water.
in a large valve. Once that's done, they can use a temporary bypass to start sending water to the eastern areas of the city that don't have it. That could happen as early as this evening, but the city fully expects that will happen by tomorrow. School is closed again Tuesday while they do this work. When that water does start coming through your home or business, it will be discolored due to sediment sitting in the pipes. Just run
yeah.
the water until it's clear. However, the city says it's still not safe to drink or cook with until they test the water, a process that takes 24 hours. So they won't know the test
How are they
results
going to
until
test all the
Wednesday or
water?
Thursday at the earliest. The city described this area of its water
They
pipes
try to
on Thomaston
underestimate.
Avenue
This is a really
as
big
the
deal.
one point in the entire system where a break could be this catastrophic.
This is unique. This is the one point in the city that would kill the city. If there is a kind of a silver lining to this, is it's forcing us to fix this problem now. So should
Could
this
have fixed
happen
it a
again
long time
ever
ago.
at this single point, and it's never happened since, but should it happen again, we've now installed the
Guaranteed free
infrastructure
delivery,
to
but
mitigate
they
it next
wouldn't.
time.
They refuse to deliver. Oh Lord!
Of course, work on
That's
that
crazy.
permanent fix is still days away. They're still racing to get water into homes.
I would have told them to stick the
ASAP.
TV
Now,
up their
for
ass. I would
thousands
have
of
gone
you
and picked it up.
relying on bottled water right now, we have a
Okay.
very important update about that distribution. We'll tell you about that coming up at 5 o'clock. For now, your reporter live in Waterbury, I'm Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see, what is this? Let's check this out.
Rhode Island law enforcement officials have released the person of interest they detained over the weekend in connection to the deadly shooting at Brown University. A gunman killed 2 people and wounded 9 others in a shooting at the university on Saturday. Officials say there's no threat to the community, but they are still looking for the person behind the shooting.
There was some degree of evidence that pointed to this individual, but that evidence needed to be corroborated and confirmed. And over the last 24 hours, leading into just very, very recently, that evidence now points in a different direction.
With them and continue to do the work that we need to do to bring this person who's responsible to justice.
Let's bring in CBS News' Jared Hill, who's live in Providence, Rhode Island this morning. So, Jared, help me understand. The police say that there is no threat to the community, and yet the person who committed these horrific acts is still at large.
Wow.
And in fact, Vlad,
And the
actually, they're
FBI
saying
gave them
that this
a head
person is
start
in this neighborhood
because
in
they
this
arrested
city,
the
in
wrong
this
person.
state. They said there's no way of knowing right now where whoever committed this heinous act actually is. But again, as you mentioned, they are stressing that they have not gotten any sort of credible threats so far to this community, and so they are.
I wonder how they're going to fix it, how they're going to pay for that. That's a lot of water.
Yesterday, in fact, the mayor of Providence said that he knows that this announcement that the person of interest has been released is going to cause fresh anxiety for folks who are in this community. when it comes to trying to figure out exactly where whoever this person is, they say that they're continuing to ask for any tips, especially any pictures or video that there might be from around this area that anyone might have had, so that they can try and figure out who this person is and where they might be.
All right, so what are you hearing from members of the community this morning?
So obviously it's quiet here so far. It's a cold, quiet day. School is out now because of this shooting, but there is a feeling of great sadness from what we saw last night. There was a vigil in the area. It was really supposed to be a Christmas tree and Hanukkah lighting that was happening last night, then turned into basically this moment for this community.
Well, they're
going
to be
together
forced
and
to
grieve.
fix it because
Folks are
they're
sad
going to have to
here,
spend the money.
and there is again that concern about what does this
Connecticut
mean
does have
going
a
forward
surplus.
for this investigation, and kind of where does this
That's
place
because of the
everyone
marijuana sales.
after this really horrific shooting.
All that marijuana tax money.
Jared, thank you very much. All right, I want to bring in Sophia Holman. She's a Brown University student who was studying in the engineering building when she heard the gunshots. Sophia, first of all, thank you for joining us. And before we even start talking about what happened, I want to know how you are doing. How are you holding up this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Vlad. Thank you for checking in. I'm doing all right. I'm currently back in California. So like a lot of people at Brown, I left Rhode Island. And I'm in California now.
So okay, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad your family knows that you're safe and that you're with them. I'm guessing. Your call to 911 was among one of the very first reported. Can you tell us what you saw and what you heard on Saturday?
Yeah, so I was coming from a late lunch with my boyfriend and one of my friends. I walked into the building like I do almost every day to go study. The first thing that I felt when I walked in was actually a sense of disappointment, because I walked in a door that one of my teammates usually studies in, and she wasn't there. And so, I was walking around, I was looking for a classroom. I was opening doors to classrooms, just trying to see if any of them were open. When I first heard the gunshots, I mean, I think like most college students, the first thing that I didn't think of was that they actually were gunshots. The first thing I thought was, oh, this is a physics experiment gone wrong. This is a wood shop. This is anything but this. But after I heard the third shot, I thought it would be better to be safe than sorry. And I remember having a conversation actually with one of my high school teachers when I was in high school about, if there were a shooting at my high school, what would we do? And she said, you should run if you're away from the shooting.
If you're away from the shooting,
she was my homeroom teacher, and that stuck with me. And so I ran one block.
If you're
east.
near the shooting, I would say get the fuck out. Haul ass like
that same exit
fucking
that I
Forrest
ran
Gump.
out of was actually the exit that I later found out that the shooter ran out of. And I mean, if I had gone down one other hallway, I could have been the first person that the shooter saw when they walked into the building. Yeah.
Remarkable, and we're so glad that that didn't happen in that way. It's interesting because as somebody who's a lot older and did not deal with the regular instances of gun violence in this country that we see, especially on school campuses, did you not? I know that you said when you first heard the shots, you thought it was an experiment. Did it ever occur to you, just as a young person, just as someone going through the American public education system or even the private school system in this country, that you might someday be the victim of gun violence in this country?
Absolutely. I never thought it was going to happen to me. I think it's something that you see on the news, but I never thought, this is going to happen at my school. And so I'm extremely grateful to the teachers who, made us listen during these drills, because it could have saved my life today. I mean, on Saturday, it really could have saved my life. Yeah.
And can you describe the moment that your parents must have been frantic when they heard that something was happening at Brown University? They're clearly very, very far away across the country. What was their reaction when you finally?
And he's
got a
still
hold
their
of them to
mayor.
tell them
That's
that you were
crazy.
okay?
Gambly. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I think when I first called them, I was in shock, and so, my dad said afterwards, he said I was cool as a cucumber, and so I think they helped get me out of there. Like, they told me what to do, after I had ran out of the building, and they called a friend they had in Rhode Island, and a few friends and I got out of Brown, and we went there. And so my parents were very glad to hear I was okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, Sophia, we're glad that you're okay. Thank you for spending some time with us this morning to tell us what happened and what you experienced. And I'm wishing you and your family a wonderful holiday. I'm sure it's going to be one when you realize what some other families will not be able to celebrate this year. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Sophia.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Jessica Cartalia is live in Providence, Rhode Island with the latest. Jessica, what do we know, especially following some of the updates from authorities?
Well, Alicia, it's just a really sad day here on campus and around Providence in general. A woman just walked by and said that many of the stores have closed just in solidarity and just this feeling of heaviness here. Many of the students also that I spoke with were getting ready to leave campus. Many of them already have left campus. They were set to take finals next week, but those finals have been postponed. Many of them saying they just want to be with their family. This shooting, as you mentioned, happened on the suspect classroom. He fired several shots, hitting 9 people. One person is in custody, but has yet to be charged. Police tell us he's in his 20s. He was detained very early this morning by the FBI at a Hampton Inn about 20 minutes from here. We're still waiting to get more details on him when the FBI releases those details. But for now, they're staying pretty quiet about how they knew that that was the alleged suspect. As for those students, 2 students were killed. 1 remains in critical condition. 7 are now in stable condition at the hospital. 1 has been discharged. Their names have not been released. That investigation is still ongoing. They have to notify next of kin. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley visited students earlier today at the hospital.
When I was at the hospital today, one of the students that showed tremendous courage literally said to me, you know, that active shooter drill they made me do in high school actually helped me in the moment. Which at the same time provided me hope and was so sad.
Yeah, I mean, just the concept of these students having to go through an active shooter drill is disturbing enough, but then to know that it actually helped students in this situation is just hard to fathom, Alicia. Students across campus were told to shelter in place for hours as 400 law enforcement officers searched the area and then lifted that shelter in place.
Yeah, Jessica, to your point, the fact that that has become a reality where you have these drills and then they come to fruition and they become handy, for lack of a better word, is just a sad state that we're in. Jessica, this happened, as you're pointing out, at a time where students were, ready to wrap up the semester, right? They're taking finals. What's the university, telling students officially in terms of what to do next?
Get the fuck out.
So I spoke with a student on campus. He was a graduate student, and he
My
told
final.
me that
I'm getting the fuck
university has
out
been
of here.
incredibly vigilant, letting them know what was going on.
Shit.
As I mentioned, though, many of the students have
You ain't
left
gonna
campus
catch me
early
there.
now to be home.
Hell to no.
I spoke with that graduate student. He said that he was playing basketball at the time, and all of a sudden they started getting alerts on their phones. Their phones started ringing. Here's what he told me.
It's really, really frustrating and anxiety provoking. I mean, the class that was shot up is where I usually take quantum, which is just crazy to me. And I was on the block like 15 minutes before. I mean, the shooting, it felt like very planned, very targeted.
Are the rumors swirling? Is everybody talking? You said you knew or you'd heard about one of the victims.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like, I don't want to say any names, but yeah, I had mutual friends with one of the victims, unfortunately.
How are you going to feel when you come back to school?
It's the girl.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I really want to be taking classes in that building right now. Considering I would have been taking classes in that exact classroom next semester. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a little weird, but yeah, I mean, I got to come to class next semester.
I still gotta go to class.
And of course, Alicia, we're waiting to hear more about the victims. You're looking at drone footage of the campus that photographer Greg Gileone took earlier today. It is just heartbreaking. It feels like a ghost town here. And again, as I mentioned, a woman just a short time ago saying they were supposed to have a celebration here at a park tonight, for Hanukkah and for Christmas, which is so soon. All of these students are so excited. Well, that vigil has now turned into, or the gathering has now turned into a vigil for these students. So faculty, students, and community members are invited to attend. That starts tonight at 5 o'clock.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact.
It is what it is. Just keep it moving.
Out in downtown New Haven ends with a woman getting pepper sprayed and robbed. She was
What?
walking right near Crown and York Streets when she was attacked. Matt McFarland is your reporter
Pepper
covering
sprayed
Haven
and
County.
attacked?
He is live in downtown with more on what we're learning now. Matt.
Hi there, Kara. Well, this frightening incident happening not too far from popular restaurants and hotspots like Bar and Geronimo, which are just down the street. But then right here in this area, Crown and York, you can see on the corner, not too far from where this happened, there's a camera.
I'm sure either with a group or there's a couple people around and I feel safer.
And that strength in numbers approach is something Francis, first-year PhD student at Witness News, she'll definitely continue with after learning a woman was robbed and pepper sprayed around 1 a.m. Saturday morning. And she's not alone.
It makes me scared of walking by myself around this area.
According to police, the victim said she had left a bar and was walking on Crown, heading towards York Street when an unknown man approached her. We're told the suspect, believed to be 20 to 25 years old, pepper sprayed the woman and stole her purse before getting into a silver Chevy Silverado pickup truck and taking off.
We got the alert too 1 in the morning, but it could have been 8, it could have been 9, times I'm actually walking home from school. So it does concern me with that.
Now, while New Haven police are investigating, Yale also reminding its
They
students
do have
of
cameras
those blue
there.
lights that you see right there, along with those phones that you can contact police during any emergency. Well, that part of the story comes tonight on Eyewitness News at 5:30. Reporter live in New Haven, Matt McFarland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Okay, Matt, thanks.
What a wild story. Let's keep it going. More pepper spray? Are you kidding me?
A holiday shopping warning. Millions use Facebook Marketplace to buy and sell gifts. But when one couple posted a laptop for sale, it led to a nightmare. The guys who showed up to buy it attacked them with bear spray.
You're about to see a holiday Facebook Marketplace
Oh, they're
deal
dressed all in
turn
black.
violent.
I would
These
not
two
trust
guys
this
are there
chick.
to buy a
Look at this.
laptop computer that the homeowner has listed on the popular online platform that allows you to buy and
First of all,
sell
why are they
anything from your
inside his
car
home?
to furniture. The homeowner thinks the transaction for $2,700 is about to go through. Easy
Look how they
peasy.
dressed.
Suddenly,
Look, of course, look at it.
he's hit with bear spray. The laptop goes flying. The homeowner, blinded by the toxic chemical, grabs his attacker as his wife watches in horror. The struggle spills into the snowy street in
Look at this.
Calgary, Canada. Brutal
Canada.
kicks rain down on the homeowner. His wife goes on the attack, grabbing a snow shovel. Then one of the robbers runs back into the house. Husband and wife team up to tackle the intruder. The husband whacks the robber with the snow shovel. They take it outside again as the wife tries to wipe the bear spray out of her eyes.
I was bear sprayed 4 or 5 times inside of our house.
Les Trent spoke to homeowner
First of all,
Jason
why are you gonna
Nguyen.
let these
What is it
people
like
all
to be
dressed in black,
sprayed, to be hit with
covered
bear
up?
spray?
My entire face was pulsating red, as well as my wife too. She was hit with the bear spray outside of our house.
Facebook Marketplace is enormously popular. More than 1 billion people around the world use it without a problem. So, with Christmas coming up, security expert Bob
Not for me.
Strang says there are ways to avoid a nightmare
I know
like
you,
this
Facebook.
during a face-to-face sale.
Always meet in a public place if you can. You never have
Yeah, you
anybody
never
at
let
your
them in
home
your
or your
home.
office. Do your homework a little bit. You know, you ask the questions of them. You know, where do you live? What's your phone number?
The bear spray attack ends with the 2 bad guys fleeing.
Did they get the laptop?
They did not, no.
Facebook Marketplace does post safety tips, including a recommendation to meet in public places.
I say, listen, if you're gonna sell something of that amount, that high amount, I highly suggest meeting at a police fucking station or meeting at where it's like safe to do this type of like transaction. I just would not just let them in my home, and they're both dressed all in black. Their face is covered with black. All you can see is their eyes, and you're gonna let them in? Like that was your mistake right there. Like, you didn't read up on the red flags, my man. That's your fault. Your first mistake was opening that door and allowing them to come into your home. But I hope you got some good licks in there. I saw they got a couple of good hits. I would have done a lot more. I would have done a lot more. This is like my dream, like a dream come true. For something like that to happen, oh Lord, thank you. I would say thank you, God, real quick. I'll look up and above and I'll look at the predator. I'm like, you're done. Get over here. Oh boy, that would be so much fun. All right, let's see what else we have, because we got more to watch. Remember, I was off for like 2 days. I took the weekend off. I might keep on with that tradition of keeping the weekends off, because man, I didn't really have a good weekend as far as my pain in my body, but it was kind of refreshing to not have to watch the news. It's just daunting. Like, oh wait, what's this? Oh, something happened over here in Miami. That's my home. Let's see what's going on here in Miami.
And now to our other top story tonight. Police are looking for a man seen on surveillance video dumping a body out of his pickup truck. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm Elliot Rodriguez.
And I'm Chelsea Jones. Lauren Pastrana has the night off. The area is in the West Perrine neighborhood. It's mostly industrial there, but cameras were rolling as the truck pulled up. Let's take you to Southwest Miami-Dade now. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor is on the scene. Yvonne, what else can you tell us about the victim?
Yes, Elliot and Chelsea, the victim's body was actually found at the entrance of this business, this shop right here in West Palm around 5 a.m. according to police. Now, the business owner whose camera shot everything told us that this is a small industrial area that very few people know about it. A surveillance camera caught the woman in a pickup truck arrives to the industrial area. The driver turns around and heads over to the place where police found the victim's body. Police confirmed to Ron Van Pauls, a business owner, that the suspect dumped a body.
It was a female, and she was,
God,
badly beaten up, and that's all they know. That's all they've shared with me.
Pauls shared the surveillance video with the cops. The gruesome discovery was at the entrance of another shop on Southwest 170th Street and 99th Avenue.
Yeah, cameras.
Oh, you got good cameras.
My guys got here just 2 or 3 minutes after. You can see from the video, 3 minutes later, my guys arrived.
One of them was Pharrell Scott.
If I was here earlier, I would have seen the guy.
He said the truck driver was lucky. This Friday, he was 5 minutes late.
I would have seen everything happen But I stopped and got my
he would have
coffee
taken
and
the
stuff
body
like
somewhere
that.
else.
The video is shocking because the guy
You
made
wouldn't
a
have seen
U-turn
nothing.
right here,
Trust
stop.
me, you
I
don't want
seen
to
him
watch
get out,
this.
dump the body, but I just couldn't see his face.
Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office said they are investigating the case and would not comment on anything yet.
I just, hope they catch this guy. Whoever it is, this needs to be taken care of properly.
Yeah, execute him.
And Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is urging anybody who has information about the case, especially if identify that pickup truck. Call
Well,
the crime
shit, it's
numbers
burning.
of Miami-Dade,
It has a
and the number
burnt,
is
like a burnt bright light.
305-471-TIPS. Remember that your identity can remain anonymous. We are live in West Perrine or Southwest Miami-Dade. Ivan Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
It's not. You got to do some homework on that one, but listen, it was a burnt out like the headlight. It was burnt out on that truck. So if they could put a bolo out to all these auto parts stores and stuff, and if someone or even the internet buys a headlight for that type of vehicle, they should be like, the FBI should be alerted. Like, it should put a ding, like, oh shit, someone bought a headlight, and we need to follow the leads and make sure it's not the person who dumped this body. Oh, that's scary, man. Right before Christmas too, and people are dumping bodies. Oh man, I'm telling you, we live in hell, and when we die, that's when we go to heaven, right? Because right now, this is hell. I don't know what else you want to call it, but I call it what I see it, and it's society gone crazy. Let's keep it moving. Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's set this up.
Caught red-handed. A police sting operation catches a postal worker in Suffolk County stealing greeting cards, ripping gift cards from the envelopes, and spending them.
Eyewitness News reporter Stacey
no.
managed to catch her in the act.
Oh,
it's that time of year when holiday cheer and gift cards often arrive in our mailboxes. Or do they? If you're wondering if someone wasn't as giving this year, well, here in Suffolk County, it may actually be this postal clerk who allegedly behaved like quite the Grinch, shopping at TJ Maxx right after opening our mail on the job here at the Oakdale Post Office and allegedly stealing items of value from it, items like gift cards and scratch-offs, even foreign cash. But she didn't know investigators were watching.
We are paying attention. And if you are going to engage in this conduct, we're going to notice it.
The 35-year-old clerk, Giovanni Jameson Lewis of Mastic Beach, now facing felony charges for grand larceny and criminal possession of her allegedly stolen property. It also cost her her job here at the post office, where she had worked for this past year, until a tip from the U.S. Postal Service Inspector General that a clerk had used a stolen gift card here at TJ Maxx in her postal uniform.
We began that investigation with the view of, was this a one-off or is this indicative given where she works?
And while the value wasn't staggering, at least not so far, they did uncover dozens of occasions in which envelopes were opened and the value inside went to Jameson Lewis. Definitely naughty, say postal customers here in Oakdale.
That's not fair. People work hard for their money and they're giving a gift to somebody. And then
she's terminated.
That's not fair.
I think that's absolutely ridiculous, and the fact that someone who works at the post office would do that is
I'm tired
so
too.
disgusting. I mean,
I saw a chiropractor today.
That just crosses the line.
Jameson Lewis
I'm like
is due
really
back
tired.
in court on January 6th. The Suffolk DA is asking anyone who thinks their gift was lost in the mail to call the DA's Public Corruption Squad. I'm Stacey Sager, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
That is fucking crazy. All right, keep it moving.
For most of us, our home is the place where we feel the safest, but 9 out of 10 fire deaths in the U.S. happen inside of a home.
Yeah, the risk of deadly fires actually goes up during the holiday season. No surprise. Or Nydia Hahn joins us now live in studio with ways we can stay safe. Nydia.
Yeah, Sarah and Brian, whether you have a real or artificial Christmas tree, it is critical you turn off the lights before bed and when you leave the house. That is the message from a Delaware woman who lost 6 of her family members to a tragic fire 10 years ago.
they had left their tree lights on when they went to bed, and there was an electrical problem.
That sparked a fast-moving fire.
And at 3:29 in the morning, the smoke detectors all went off. But by 3:31, there were flames shooting through the roof.
Cher Grog's brother, his wife, and 4 of the couple's young grandchildren.
Oh my God.
Danger. Yes.
Grog now works with Common Voices, a fire safety advocate group.
I have to tell you, never, ever, ever leave your tree lights on when the tree is unattended.
Take a look at this live tree demonstration by the Philadelphia Fire Department. It shows how quickly flames can spread.
Water your tree every day. It makes a huge difference.
Daily, and keep your tree at least 3 feet away from any heat source.
Definitely dispose of the tree within 30 days of the time you bring it into your home, or by January 2nd, whichever comes first.
Also, make sure all of your holiday lights are listed by a qualified testing laboratory. Be aware some are only for indoor or outdoor use, but not both. Replace lights with worn or broken cords or loose bulb connections, and read manufacturer instructions for the number of light strands to connect. Also, be careful with candles. Blow them out before leaving a room, and keep them away from curtains or other flammable materials, as well as pets and young kids. And as you are 8% more likely to survive a fire if your home has working smoke alarms and a sprinkler system. It is so important, Sarah.
I actually switched to some battery-powered candles.
Oh,
just
good.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
So I don't forget.
Not me. I got
Great.
candles
Lydia,
galore
thank you for all
here.
that.
I got candles galore. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, hold on. We got let's see what this is about.
Well, now to our big story tonight at 9. Shop with a cop or shoplift with a cop.
Okay, story of the evening. Hartford police say a known thief, perhaps unknowingly, walked into a Walmart filled with officers. Stephanie Quirk joins us with what happened next.
Yeah, well, Hartford police called it a tale of Yuletide
Another Connecticut
timing and a
Terry.
really unfortunate decision making. In their post on Facebook, they say a woman committed felony level retail theft, then came back when the store was, quote, basically a satellite police station.
It gives these kids something to open on Christmas morning.
It's a holiday event Hartford police look forward to every year.
We take them shopping, and you know, it's really a nice event for everybody.
But the town's chief says during this
Yeah, I
year's
haven't had a
Shop
real
with Cop
tree
event,
forever.
things took an unexpected turn.
Fortunately, there are a number of officers.
Saturday morning at Walmart, as police were giving back, investigators say 24-year-old Sophia Malik entered the store on a mission to steal.
My felony retail theft just entered Walmart.
Just 3 days before the event, prosecutors say Malik stole more than $600 worth of items from the same Walmart location. But this time, when she returned,
That's her.
police not only knew who she was,
She's walking back towards the toys from the paint. She's wearing black coats.
they knew they could stop her.
We walked right next to her. She's putting stuff in her car.
A criminal complaint says when an officer confronted her in the store, she had more than $200 worth of items in her cart and told them she was, quote, just trying to get gifts for her kids. Eventually, it says she admitted to stealing and told detectives, quote, she would have shoplifted again, but changed her mind because of the amount of police in the store.
It's sad that somebody feels the need that they have to go out and do this in the first place.
Prosecutors say officers discovered roughly $900 worth of stolen toys in her car. She now faces a felony charge of retail theft. But police say the turn of events didn't take away from its main purpose.
These officers, everybody worked together.
Malik made her first appearance in court Monday, where a judge set her signature bond at $1,500. Mary?
Oh my God!
What a story,
$1,500?
Thank you. Well-
Get out of here! Are you kidding me? She had almost $1,000 worth of stolen and stuff that she has stolen in the past, and her bail is only $1,500. That's how much she had. Probably in her home, she has like stolen shit that's probably worth more than that. Oh my goodness, how weak Connecticut is with like these shoplifters, and it's just. Oh look, they even have video of her stealing. Let's see if I could show you guys that. Let me see. Okay. Let me pause it real quick because they do show a picture for walking out. Hold on, that's not this one. It's this one. Look at her cart. This is the girl that they arrested. Let's watch, and you be the judge.
Timing for a woman suspected of theft at a Walmart in Washington County during a police charity event called Shop with a Cop. 12 News' Kendall Keys reports on how Hartford officers were forced to quickly pivot.
Surveillance photos from a Hartford Walmart
Yeah,
on December
150 bucks,
3rd
that's
show
true.
a woman walking out of the store with a cart overflowing with
Look
more
at
than $600 worth of toys, decor, and clothes. One problem, police say she never paid.
Straight past the checkout and putting it out into her car.
Hartford Police Chief Scott McFarland says the woman returned to the same Walmart a few days later. This time, it was crawling with cops.
We were kind of incredulous that she would come back, considering there probably wasn't a corner that you could turn around in the store and not see a police officer.
Police were there for Shop with a Cop, an annual event where officers help kids fill holiday wish lists. The Hartford police chief says there were more than a dozen officers inside the store with their squad cars visible parked out front. Still, he says she continued to walk inside the store and began filling up a cart.
I was at the register checking everybody out. I heard over the radio that one of our officers had noticed that a shoplifting suspect from the previous day was in the store.
The Washington County DA charged 24-year-old Sophia Malik with felony retail theft. It's who McFarland says officers recognized from these surveillance images.
She had filled the cart again and was ready to push it out.
The chief says officers arrested her out of the view of the kids, finding $900 worth of stolen toys in her car. The criminal complaint says she told detectives she would have shoplifted again, but changed her mind after seeing the police presence in the Walmart toy section.
It was a win-win for us.
You need to check her
somebody
house.
lost in all of it, but it certainly wasn't the
materials
kids
she
that we were
has
able and families that we were able to help that day.
Reporting in Hartford, Kendall Keys, WISN 12 News.
Prosecutors say the woman admitted to doing the same thing at Walmart in Milwaukee and West Bend. She is out of jail on a signature bond tonight.
Yeah, but you don't say how much it was, dumbass, huh? Because we know she only paid $150, you dumb. Oh, Lord. It just makes me mad. It makes me mad. It makes me mad, and I'm like, I'll do it again. I just got out of jail. I only had to pay $150. Shit, I have like $900 of shit here to sell for Christmas. I'm going to be making more money than the fucking, like, I don't know. What the fuck is going on, man? That's crazy. Yeah. And family with no common sense. That's for damn sure. All right, let's see what else we have here. We got a good little lineup here. Let's okay, so let's cut this out. Yeah. There we go. That's the one I want. Well, I hope everyone's having a good night. Welcome to Monday, the end of Monday. What's going on here?
Get out of the street! Get out of our city! Get out! Leave! Get out of our city!
Why is she kind of quick?
Out!
Rage her. Look, she threw something at him.
Get the out. Leave. Get out of the street. Get out of the street.
Oh, pepper spray in my eye.
You hear the Karen? KK USA. No KKK, no fascist USA. Wow, you're so clever.
Move out of the way.
That person I would arrest, man. These people need to be arrested. You know what I
Move out
mean?
of the way.
Oh, they got the whistles. You hear the whistles?
Hey, if you don't stop the TV, I will pull you out of the vehicle. I will pull you out of the vehicle. You need to move now. I'll tell you again. Come on. Come on. You need to go now. Come on. Come on. All this work is to keep going. Imagine this. You flew all the way to Minneapolis. Keep going. No one wants you. Keep going. Hey, get back.
What the fuck? How do these people just show up? They're like roaches. What the hell? Like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Hey, watch where you spray that. He's a German immigrant.
He's a German immigrant. Run him over. Hey, you fell on your ass. Look at how they throwing snow at the car. Oh, here they go.
Oh, come on. Come on. It's right. It's right.
Yeah, there's your gift.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I got your video. I got your face. What is going on with these people? You know, this is what happens when you have no control of your region. You know, you're a branch of the president, right? This comes the president, and it's like the pyramid, you know. And this is us, the United States of America, and then on the top we got Trump. Trump is like way up here, and we're supposed to be one with each other, and these people, I don't know who like activated them, right? It was Tim Watts, right? That's his people over in Minnesota. Minnesota is just a shithole. I just I don't know how people could go and even try to visit Minnesota. That's just not good. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, put this up. Ooh, I want to see this. This is, this is actually big news, and I'm surprised it hasn't come across me until now. So let me set this up. Let's check out this video here. If we could put the damn sound.
Go when having a phone meant plugging a device into the wall. Now, there's new proof that landline phones may be going away for good. Charlie, Wojciechowski.
That is not good.
For a bedroom, we have this princess phone.
The year was 1977, and Illinois Bell was using Robin Williams to promote its landline phone business. Now, AT&T customers are getting letters like this one, telling them that the company will be pulling the plug on its landlines in March of 2027.
We got that letter, and we're supposed to look at it better, and I haven't done it.
Samantha Loomis's parents don't want to give up their landline.
They're set in their ways and can't rely on a cell phone service. At a small
Yeah, 'cause
town, if it was to go out and needed to call an answer a fare truck, they wouldn't be able to.
AT&T first started lobbying for the end of expensive to maintain plain old telephone service back in 2017. The Citizens Utility Board has been fighting to keep those landlines connected.
This was sad and frustrating development. There are still a lot of people who could use plain old no frills phone service that's reliable and affordable, but it's not surprising because the company's been trying to do this for years.
But overwhelmingly, Illinois customers prefer their cell phones. One recent study from the research firm Chamber of Commerce found that 2/3 of homes have no
A lot of
landline,
people can't
compared
afford
with
it.
1/3 who still do, a little over 3 million people. In a statement, an AT&T spokesperson said the company is working with its customers to upgrade their copper-based service to newer, less expensive options like AT&T Phone Advanced. As part of that upgrade, he said, copper-based service will eventually be discontinued in these areas. This is a multi-year process, and no customer will be left without access to voice or 911 service. But these friends in Chicago from Ottawa, Illinois on a shopping trip say all the habits die hard. That their parents will be hard to give up their landlines.
Mother is
Yeah.
landline user for sure.
My dad will keep it. He will keep it. He does not want a cell phone. As long as he can have it, he'll have it.
Illinois is the only state that requires the utility to give more than a year of notice to customers ahead of filing to discontinue service. The FCC and AT&T will notify customers multiple times throughout this process.
Wow, that is crazy. How advanced we're going into the future. It's unreal. All right, let's check out Jason A.
The future of American warfare is here, and it's spelled AI. As technologies advance, so do our adversaries. But here at the War Department, we are not sitting idly by. Under the leadership of President Trump, America will lead the charge on this technological transformation by revolutionizing the way we win. And that's why today we are unleashing GenAI.mil. This platform puts the world's most powerful frontier AI models, starting with Google Gemini, directly into the hands of every American warrior. At the click of a button, AI models on GenAI can be utilized to conduct deep research, format documents, and even analyze video or imagery at unprecedented speed. Building on the great work of Undersecretary Emil Michael and his team, we will continue to aggressively field the world's best technology to make our fighting force more lethal than ever before. And all of it is American-made. The possibilities with AI are endless. Now, let's get to work.
Well, this week, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that aims to keep states from regulating artificial intelligence. Texas is one of 4 states which passed laws to set some rules for AI across the private sector.
The American President Donald Trump has signed an executive order launching a government-wide artificial intelligence initiative called the Genesis Mission, a project that aims to build an integrated AI platform using America's most powerful supercomputers and scientific data sets. And the order directs the U.S. Energy Department and national laboratories to combine federal scientific data, AI systems, and computing power into a single cooperative research network.
We are back 7:39 with the Today exclusive, an annual tradition for us, the reveal of 2025's Time Person of the Year.
Every year since 1927, they've selected a man, woman, group, or concept for the most in the world, for better or for worse in some cases. The first, when it was Time's Man of the Year, aviator, Charles Lindbergh.
Yeah, more recent recipients highlight a wide range of selections from Volodymyr Zelensky and the spirit of Ukraine. Then there was music superstar Taylor Swift. That sold some issues. And last year, it was then President-elect Donald Trump. So Here to share this year's Selection Times editor-in-chief, Sam Jacobs. Hi, Sam. Good morning. We love this tradition with you. Drum roll, please. Without further ado, who is it?
Good morning. Well, today we are proud to announce the 99th Person of the Year from Time and the Person of the Year for 2025. The architects of AI. This was the year where we feel like the people who were designing, imagining, and building artificial intelligence stopped debating about how to create this technology and started racing to deploy it. And there are enormous consequences for society.
Viewers were not loving it. McDonald's has taken down a Christmas ad that was allegedly entirely produced with artificial intelligence after the brand was slammed with an onslaught of backlash from unhappy customers. The 45-second advertisement for McDonald's Netherlands was first posted on their YouTube channel on December 6th and was removed just a few days later on December 9th following the outcry online. In the video, AI-generated people are constantly experiencing strokes of bad luck, with chaotic family dinners, shopping woes, burnt cookies, failed Christmas tree decorating, and so on. McDonald's unveiled what has to be the most god-awful ad I've seen this year. When
the liberals must be going crazy.
The ad is set to
because
a song
the
to
Democrats
tune of
they don't like
wonderful time of the year.
Christmas.
But the
They don't
made-up
like
lyrics
humor.
are the song's antidote,
They don't like
calling the holiday season
laughing.
the most terrible time of the year.
It's the most terrible time of the year.
That is funny. The commercial ends by telling viewers to hide out in McDonald's until January's here.
And hide out in McDonald's till January's here.
After the harsh criticism, McDonald's initially turned off comments on the YouTube video before removing it completely. McDonald's Netherlands told the BBC that the video was meant to reflect the stressful moments that can occur during the holidays. But it was an important learning moment as the company explored the effective use of AI. Though it's been removed from their official YouTube channel, the ad has been reposted many times on social media, where the reaction is still largely negative, criticizing the use of AI, as well as the negative message of the ad. If they were going for creepy, depressing, deeply unfunny, clumsily shot, poorly edited, and inauthentic, nailed it.
Sounds
Someone
very
quipped on X.
left
It sucks.
attacking
It's
McDonald's.
awful. There's no artistry, no wit, no charm, no warmth, no humanity. You can tell it's AI from a million miles away. I hate it. Another post said.
It's AI.
Meanwhile, the studio behind the ad, the Gardening Club, is defending its work,
use AI
noting on
every
LinkedIn that the AI-generated ad still took 7 intense
here in the
weeks
internet.
for humans to create, admitting that the man-hours poured into this film were more than a traditional production. Melanie Bridge, CEO of The Sweet Shop, the studio's parent company, shared a similar sentiment on Instagram, saying that the hours that went into this job far exceeded a traditional shoot.
President Donald Trump signing an executive order to pressure states not to regulate artificial intelligence with the aim of creating a single national framework for AI.
Every time you make a change, and it could be a very reasonable change, you still won't get it approved. You have to go to 50.
In recent years, AI is pervading everyday life. States have rein in technology. University of Pittsburgh assistant professor Samantha Story, who studies AI, says right now it's a patchwork of regulations that varies state by state.
Much of the successful legislation we've seen has been around transparency and just basic information about when AI is being used.
Texas's major AI regulation law, the Texas Responsible Artificial Intelligence Governance Act, is set to take effect on January 1st. It restricts the use of AI to encourage people to harm themselves or others, infringe on a person's constitutional rights, discriminate against a protected class, or create AI-generated porn or explicit deepfake content.
While this technology offers great promise, it also brings with it serious risks that can harm consumers, compromise privacy, and erode public trust.
Trump's executive order directs federal agencies to identify burdensome state AI regulations. It has a carve-out for laws related to child safety. States with AI laws in effect could see restricted funding for broadband.
Figuring out how to balance the need for innovation alongside the need for responsible development, I think, is the puzzle that's facing all governments right now.
Shorey says AI is not perfect. Research has shown it can make mistakes like denying claims when it should not, or prioritizing a particular gender or race.
If we don't have barriers or regulations, what do we do when we know AI does make mistakes persistently? Or what do we do
The executive order directs the White House to work with Congress to create a national AI framework, but Shori says she worries in the short term it could lead to an environment where there's little accountability.
We just can't afford to have an open space that does not take into consideration the real impacts that can happen.
And according to the White House, the Genesis mission will use massive government data sets to train new scientific foundation models and to deploy AI agents to test hypotheses, automate experiments, and to speed up discoveries across the political critical fields. Michael Kratsios, the head of the White House Office Science and Technology Policy, said that effort aims to unlock federal data sets and massively accelerate the rate of scientific breakthrough. Now, the Energy Department will also develop a closed-loop AI experimentation system that links supercomputers with robotic laboratories, allowing AI to conduct live scientific testing. The order pays particular attention to U.S. and national economic and health security, including biotechnology, critical materials, nuclear fission and fusion energy, space exploration, quantum information science, semiconductors, and microelectronics. The White House has said that the Genesis mission will help the U.S. outpace China in the next generation of scientific and technological innovation. The move follows Trump's earlier directive for an AI action plan that is aimed at making the United States the world capital of artificial intelligence, and also his decision to roll back an AI safety order that is signed by former President Joe Biden.
I mean, let's talk about some of the contents of the article I just said to you. I thought it was pretty fascinating because you didn't just talk to the architects, you talked to the people who are going to be directly impacted by artificial intelligence as well. What did they say? What did they tell you about AI, and what did the architects that you talked to, what did they have to say?
The people building this technology are incredibly enthusiastic for the potential. Someone like Jensen Huang at NVIDIA is saying that the global GDP, which currently caps out at about $100 trillion, could be $500 trillion. But they also have warnings for us about what this means. The CEO of Anthropic says maybe 1 out of 5 people will be unemployed because of artificial intelligence in the next 1 to 5 years.
I mean, it's so interesting because you hear everything from AI could help us find answers. It could eradicate diseases, change life for the better. And then there are people, smart people who say it has the potential to literally destroy humankind.
AI seems to be the answer for everything in 2025. You think about a product like ChatGPT, 800 million people are using it. Think about something like what President Trump said earlier this year. If something bad happens, blame AI.
You know, it's interesting because I think a lot of folks think that this is sort of something that just came about over the last few years. In your article, you talk about how this has sort of been 75 years in the making.
75 years ago, we put a computer named Mark III on the cover of Time, and the name of that article was The Thinking Machine. And it's amazing to go back and read what the editors of Time said then about the potential for computers. It feels like now we're living in the age of the thinking machine.
Well, we talk a lot about the tech leaders who have enormous influence, and we see the cover. It's hard for me to see who's on the cover there.
Two different covers.
Yeah, there's 2 different ones, but who are the folks there?
Some of them are very familiar people to you. Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, of course, OpenAI's Sam Altman. Others may be less familiar. People who are really helping to shape the direction of this technology.
But these are unelected people who are having an enormous impact on our lives.
This reminds me of the Gilded Age. I think it never before, at least since then, has so much power been concentrated in so few individuals. And we know what happened then, amazing progress, but also incredible inequality.
Yeah, and when we think that a lot of folks think that the same thing could be happening with this AI revolution as well.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's talk about quickly also what's happening on Wall Street. I mean, a lot of people are saying there's so much investment in AI and that there's a bubble that, at some point is going to burst.
Since August, there's been increasing concern about this phenomenon. It's really interesting that the entire market and the entire economy right now is dependent upon a handful of companies. And it's possible that the growth and massive capital expenditure that we're seeing there is masking a potential recession.
Wow. Thank you, Jason A. Great upload. Holy smokes. Yeah, AI is very dangerous. It's going to take over, and they don't care if you're ready or not. They don't care if you're still on your landline, because they're cutting all those landlines out By 2027, there's going to be no more home phones. Everything's going to have to be cell phones, wireless. They're going to put everybody on the network, and that's how they're going to monitor everybody's movement. They're going to have all different types of weird devices that they're going to monitor. Like if you're home, they could tell that if you were home or not based on the energy consumption at the certain times. And they know you have a pattern, and they can control and find that pattern and use it against, or it can help you. The future is going to be very, very scary. You see, look at my background. You see, like how is for today's show is just so matching the topic. And future's going to be wild. You guys going to have to figure it out with AI. And I know we're being set up, right? We're being set up. And I wonder if those to be that are out there looking upon us here, they know that it's when it's time to show up, they're going to show up and they're going to be like, oh, you've been using our technology for so long. That's how we were able to pick up on the frequencies, because of all of the signals going to the satellites and satellites beaming back. And I don't know, guys, the future here, this world, I don't know what this world is anymore. Who knows if it's a real thing? Who knows if we're alive or not? Maybe we are living the 7 minutes of our lives, because 7 minutes, what is time? Time is an illusion. The illusion is time was they give us, it's not what time is really is. We could be in the 7 minutes. And those 7 minutes probably happened when the Mayan calendar was up. When that Mayan calendar hit in 2012, I believe. I think that's when we something happened, and we're all living this illusion and living out this dream in a life state, but we already dead. It's just weird shit, right? Who knows what the fuck at these days. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna watch a couple of Tyson de la Cruz now. So I got 3 videos of Tyson de la Cruz. Let's go ahead and set it up, and then we're gonna watch together. So here we go.
Business at the center of the allegations, founded by a Somali American.
America, Minnesota wasn't the first state to experience massive Medicaid fraud by Somalia-led organizations. It was just the first one to get caught. A whistleblower in Maine is now exposing what appears to be the exact same scheme that ripped
Terminator
off
vibes
taxpayers
for
over
sure.
$1 billion. Gateway Community Services, a Somalia-led healthcare contractor in Maine, allegedly defrauded taxpayers out of millions over 7 years, while the founder openly bragged about funneling money back to Somalia.
All right, Tyson, I got to pause you for a second, because since we're talking about movies and what it's comparing to, for me, it kind of compares me to 2 movies. The second one, I don't remember. The first one, remember the movie Cloak and Dagger? Cloak and Dagger. Very good movie. I know Terry have seen it. And the other one is hold on. Let me see if I can find the damn name of the Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, come on. Damn, the internet's just it is, and it's still gonna continue to push to get stronger and interfere with our signals. You understand, all these signals, they pass through our bodies every day, and that's those buzzing sounds you hear in your head, and all those weird signals you hear in your head. That's the signals that are up in the all over. That's all over the place, and you hear it as a humming sound. I hear it as a humming sound in my head. It kind of sounds like back in the 70s and 80s when you left the TV on but on silent and it had like that white noise sound. Like that's what it sounds like in my head. Like a little like black and white like noise. Crazy, right? Let me see if I can find this. Let's see. I have to search by the movie catalog here. To give you my second movie. Oh, okay. Cloak and Dagger. And the second movie, War Games. Remember War Games? With Matthew Broderick. That was back in like 1983. I'm taking it back to the old school for you know who. Okay. Because we're up in age, the one too who watch. So thank you for the ones of age watching, the matured ones, the ones that are nice and seasoned. But it really gives me this Cloak and Dagger vibes, and like I just feel like there's a lot of weird things going on, and Trump thinks he's in control, but he's not. He's not in control. We're not even in control. Who is in control? Who's truly running the show? That's the real question. All right, let's get back to Tyson De La Cruz. You love that movie? Oh my God, me too. I love all these good movies. I could talk movies all day.
To fund militia groups. And when the whistleblower tried to expose it, guess what? He got fired. This is an isolated fraud. This is a coordinated pattern happening
The
across
static
multiple
sound,
states.
Terry. That's what I've been hearing in my head all the time.
Another accusation of fraud
They tell
by
me
a
it's
Somali
because of my
American,
concussion.
this time in the state of Maine. At the center of the alleged scheme, Dr. Abdullahi Ali.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. The Somalia Medicaid fraud scandal has been brought to a national spotlight. And what we're discovering is that Minnesota was just the first domino to fall. Let me introduce you to Chris Barnardini, who spent 7 years working for Gateway Community Services at what he describes as a billing guru. He thought he was helping people by doing the right thing until he started digging into the numbers and couldn't believe what he was seeing.
I thought that we were doing the right thing this whole time.
I
And the more I
missed
started
the
digging, the more I
record
started
player,
finding.
the vinyl.
And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, that this was happening and that I was part of this.
Chris alleges that Gateway oversaw a system in which false records were filed about client visits, and they charged taxpayers for providing services that, guess what, never were performed. He started getting calls from clients months later saying that their staff hadn't showed up for their shift. But when he checked the records, there were time cards showing those hours had been worked, and Gateway was billing Medicaid for them.
We started getting some clients saying that, calling and saying, you know, months later that their client
I remember
owed them
the
hours. They
90s.
hadn't come in for these shifts and stuff. But I had
My mom had
a
the
time card for it.
27.
And
then
I
they were billing for it.
They were
And then
billing
she
for
had
it.
the
In March
adapters
2022,
for the
Gateway
others.
received a notice of violation from Maine's Maine Care Services Program Integrity Unit based on an audit of records taken at random from January 2017 through December 2018. Gateway had overbilled an estimated $94,000 in just that sample period. But it got worse during the pandemic. Chris started seeing $2,000 bonuses going to staff who had only been with the company for 2 weeks and had never worked a shift with the client, yet were receiving PPP loan money like candy at a doctor's office. The founder and CEO of Gateway Community Services is Abdullahi Ali, a Somali American who, while serving as executive director of Gateway, ran for president in Jubaland. a region in southern Somalia that borders Kenya. And here's where the story gets really disturbing.
In an interview with Kenyan media, openly discussed contributing money back to Somalia and paramilitary forces.
The interview was translated, and here's what it said. When I was away and abroad, the financial contributions I was sending back were being used to support forces for buying bullets, ammunition, and food. Think about what this means. A man running a Medicaid-funded health services contractor in Maine was openly bragging about sending money back to Somalia to fund paramilitary forces. That's American tax dollars being funneled to foreign militia groups through Medicaid fraud.
It's disgusting to me that they would do this.
State Senator Matt Harrington is calling for an investigation, which he says Maine's governor should have launched months ago.
You can't rob a bank for millions of dollars. You shouldn't be able to rob taxpayers of millions of dollars and just get away with it.
Republican State Senator Matt Harrington has called on Governor Janet Mills to investigate.
You shouldn't be able to rob taxpayers of millions of dollars and just get away with it. There absolutely needs to be a criminal investigation into this immediately.
Last week, Ali posted on X defending himself. I make no apologies for building my successful business in Maine, working hard to earn a living, earning a PhD, giving back to my Maine community, and running for office in Jubaland. I'm proud to contribute my hard-earned dollars to support my people back home. But those weren't his hard-earned dollars. Those were fraudulently obtained Medicaid payments that should have gone to providing actual healthcare services to vulnerable Maine residents. In April 2024, Chris wrote the Department of Homeland Security seeking whistleblower protection. They referred him back to the state of Maine. Nearly a year later, Gateway fired Chris for speaking out.
I learned that he was running for president of Jubaland, which is like a small country inside of Somalia, and that he had admitted to funding the militia groups over there. I guess that's part of
Somalia?
In Somalia. That's part of their thing that they do. Every president has a militia that they have to fund in order to run for president.
And so what'd you think about that?
I was horrified.
News Nation reached out to Ali for comment multiple times and even went to Gateway to try to speak with him. The response? No comment. They also reached out to Governor Janet Mills, the head of Health and Human Services, and 3 Democratic Somalian American state representatives. And guess what? Nobody would speak to him. Now, I need to be transparent with you about something. I am very familiar with Medicaid fraud because I'm personally involved with housing individuals with traumatic brain injuries and recovery homes in my particular state. I know the system. I know how it's supposed to work. I know how it gets abused. I also know a few people in Arizona where similar fraud is taking place, not specifically with Somalia organizations, but the same pattern of billing for services never rendered, falsifying documents and exploiting vulnerable populations while stealing from taxpayers. The Medicaid system is designed to help our most vulnerable citizens, people with disabilities, traumatic brain injuries, mental health issues, and those in recovery. When organizations exploit that system for profit, they're not just stealing from taxpayers, they're stealing resources from people who desperately need them. What makes this Somalia fraud case particularly disturbing is the scale and coordination. This isn't just one bad actor in one state. This appears to be a systematic pattern happening across multiple states with similar organizations using similar methods. We covered a story a few days ago on why we think this may be occurring specifically in Somalia communities, examining the cultural factors, the refugee resettlement process, and how these fraud schemes get established. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. It'll be somewhere linked on the screen or in the description below. It provides important context for understanding how these networks operate. The reason Maine's fraud is drawing comparisons to Minnesota is because the patterns are nearly identical. Minnesota has been dealing with massive Medicaid fraud, primarily centered in the Somalia community. At least $1 billion stolen through various schemes. The most notorious was the Feeding Our Future scandal, where nonprofit organizations claimed to be feeding children, but were actually funding money to luxury purchases and sending it back to Somalia. But that was just one scheme among many others.
Perhaps the only difference between what happened in Maine and what happened in Minnesota is Maine has far fewer Somali immigrants. It raises the question of how many Somalis have come to the United States to use our systems. not to fulfill the American dream.
42% of Somalians in America receive SNAP benefits. That is almost half on public assistance. Just 12% of Americans are on SNAP. That is a staggeringly high rate that raises some serious questions about how refugee resettlements and public assistance programs are being utilized. A Somalian American professor spoke at the New York Times about this particular issue. He said that some Somalian refugees who come to the United States after their countries in civil war were raised in a culture in which stealing from the country's dysfunctional and corrupt government was incredibly widespread. That cultural context explains why some view defrauding American government programs as acceptable behavior. But here's what's important to understand. There are two distinct groups within the Somalia American community. There are those who have embraced American culture, settled deeply in this country, and become very successful in medicine, academics, engineering, business, and law. These are people who came here to become Americans and contribute to society. Then there's a smaller group whose numbers may be small, but they're the ones defrauding their respective state. These are people exploiting American generosity and using our social safety net programs as criminal enterprises. The political response to these fraud revelations have been predictable, divided among party lines. Republican lawmakers are demanding investigations and accountability, while Democrat leadership in Maine have been completely silent.
That we know that there's this Medicaid fraud going on by Gateway Community Services. We're seeing nothing from the Mills administration on this, and I think it's appalling.
Representative Donnie Ardell explained the funding structure.
The way this is funded, where Maine Care is really the administration of federal Medicaid. So the way this is funded is that about $1 billion of state money goes into Maine Care, but about $2 billion of federal funds goes into Maine Care. So the federal government has a clear interest in how their money is being spent, even though it's being administered by the state of Maine.
That, my friends, is a very important point. This isn't just Maine taxpayer money being stolen. This is federal Medicaid money, which means taxpayers from every state in America are being defrauded to fund militia groups in Somalia. After News Nation's investigation aired, members of the House Oversight Committee spoke with the whistleblower, Chris Barney, and the details of have not made public yet. The federal lawmakers now involved suggest this a much larger investigation. While Democratic state government refuses to address Medicaid fraud in their own states, the Trump administration is taking direct action. United States Immigration and Custom Enforcement is surging into Minneapolis area to target illegal immigrants from Somalia after revelations of at least $1 billion in fraud, some of which allegedly went to a radical Islamic terrorist group, Al-Shabaab. State employees in Minnesota have accused Democratic Governor Timmy Tampon Walz of engaging in systematic retaliation against whistleblowers who warn of these fraud schemes. The Justice Department is pursuing 3 federal cases involving the welfare fraud scandal. Timmy Tampon Walz admitted during a November 30th appearance on Meet the Press that the state attracts criminals, but demanded that Somalia residents don't be demonized when questioned about the scandal. That is the typical Democratic response. Acknowledge the problem exists, but refuse to actually address it because doing so might be politically incorrect. Democrats in Maine have attacked Republican candidate Bobby Charles as a racist for raising concerns about the Maine Wire's reporting on Gateway Community Services. This, my friends, is their playbook. When Republicans expose fraud and corruption, Democrats respond by calling them racist rather than investigating the allegations. America, Minnesota's fraud wasn't incompetence. It was the business model. And now we're discovering that business model has been replicated in Maine and likely in other states we haven't uncovered yet. Gateway Community Services received $28.8 million in Medicaid funds while billing for services that were never rendered. And the founder openly bragged about sending money to fund militia groups in Somalia. When a whistleblower tried to expose it, he got fired. When reporters tried to investigate it, nobody would comment. When Republican lawmakers demanded accountability, Democrats called them a racist. We've seen this same playbook in Minnesota where over $1 billion was stolen through Medicaid and food assistance fraud. Different states, same rot. Organizations exploiting refugee resettlement programs and social safety nets, billing for services never provided, and funneling money overseas while American taxpayers foot the bill. 42% of Somalians in America America receives SNAP benefits, compare that just to 12% of all Americans. That's not about helping refugees integrate. That's about systematically exploiting public assistance programs. And when you combine that with the Medicaid fraud schemes like Gateway and Feeding Our Future, you're looking at billions of dollars stolen from American taxpayers. The federal government has made a clear interest on how their money is being spent. MaineCare receives about $2 billion in federal Medicaid funds, which means every American taxpayer has been victimized by this fraud. And if this is what we're seeing in Maine and Minnesota, imagine what's still hidden in other states. We already know Maine isn't the last state with this problem. It's just the second one that they couldn't keep covered up. American taxpayers, Minnesota taxpayers, Maine
Washington,
taxpayers deserve
Oregon,
better than having their
California.
money stolen to fund foreign militia groups. And sooner or later, accountability
United
is going to
States.
come a-knocking. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next
Cruz. Boy, that's just wild. Minnesota and Maine, just crazy. All right, let's keep on trucking.
Frankly, our building calls the CBD for safety patrols now instead of the police because we'll get response within a timely manner.
America, we just got a story that perfectly exposes the complete collapse of progressive governance. Residents in San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood just spent over $820,000 of their own money to hire private security guards because their city government has completely abandoned them to drug dealers and violent criminals. But here's what makes this even more insane. These same residents are already paying some of the highest taxes in the country for police protection that they ain't getting.
For the last 12 months, residents in San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood have had a diving to a team of private security guards.
We do heavy patrols here every hour.
They cover 109 blocks of this neighborhood.
We got to do when you elect politicians who care more about enabling drug addicts than protecting taxpayers, you end up paying twice. Once for your government services that don't work, and again for private solutions that actually work. Let me break down what's happening in San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood, because this is the ultimate indictment of progressive failures. The Soma West Community Benefit District, a private nonprofit funded by local property owners, has just spent $820,000. Let me kick that back. $820,000 in the last 12 months on private security guards to patrol 109 blocks. These property owners are already paying property tax, business tax, and every other tax San Francisco can dream up. Those taxes are supposed to fund police protection and public safety, but their progressive government has failed them so completely that they had to create their own private police force just to feel safe in their own neighborhood.
What do you think is contributing to the fact that now you guys need more security here?
We need more security because of the population of street addicts. And the reason they're here is because the city has concentrated all the facilities and services that enable their lifestyle in this area.
The main job of this benefit district was supposed to be keeping neighborhoods clean and welcoming. Basic stuff like picking up trash and maintaining sidewalks. But now they're spending over $800,000 on security because San Francisco crap hole has turned their neighborhood into a dumping ground for every drug addict and homeless service in the city.
At the CBD's office, they have a bird's eye view of the conditions of the
She's
streets.
getting
They
drunk.
created this map
She's
showing
drinking her
all
bottle of
city
wine.
services and their exact locations.
This is a visualization of where supportive services are in San Francisco. As you can see, they are They're all right here. The city is designing pockets of poverty and they're putting it here.
Look at that map. The city has deliberately concentrated every single homeless service, drug treatment facility, and supported housing project in this one neighborhood. They essentially created a containment zone where they dump all their social problems, then abandon the residents who live there to deal with the consequences. So what are these private security guards actually doing for $820,000? They're doing the job that San Francisco police should be doing, but they're not. Removing people, blocking sidewalks, clearing doorways, and making sure residents can actually use their streets.
If there's anybody that's on the sidewalk blocking doorways, blocking garageways, or just mainly blocking the sidewalk where people can't pass through, we basically walk up to them, we address it, we ask them if they could relocate.
These guards aren't even armed. They're just asking people to move along and offering services. That's it. That is the bare minimum of what should be happening on every street in San Francisco. But because the city doesn't or won't do it, residents are paying premium prices for basic public safety. And here's what gets me. Residents say they now call the private security instead of the police because they actually get a response. Let that sink in for a moment, guys. San Francisco residents have given up on calling 911 because private security responds faster and more effectively than the city's own police department.
This was actually attacked about 4 or 5 times now. This was blowtorched. This was hacksawed open. This right here was kicked in. They took a crowbar to it.
Look at what these residents are dealing with. This building has been attacked 4 or 5 times. Blowtorches, hacksaw Jim Duggan style, kicked in, crowbarred. These aren't random acts of vandalism. This is what happens when you create open air drug markets and refuse to enforce basic laws. Let me tell you guys something a little personal. I have family that currently lives in San Francisco, and I have family that moved out of the city because they couldn't take it anymore. When I went to go visit recently, what I saw was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Entire parks filled with encampments, tents everywhere, apparent drug use happening right in open air in broad daylight, people shouting and shooting up on sidewalks in broad daylight, human waste on the streets. This isn't some third world country. This is supposed to be one of America's premier cities. My family members who still live there told me that they don't let their kids play in certain parks anymore. They plan their routes to avoid certain streets. They've essentially surrendered entire sections of their own city to drug dealers and homeless encampments. And the family members that moved out, they told me that they couldn't justify paying San Francisco's insane cost of living to raise their kids in that type of environment. They're paying some of the highest taxes in the country to live in conditions that would be unacceptable for any properly run city. This is what progressive governance creates. You pay premium prices for third world conditions. You pay the highest taxes in America for the worst public services in America. And when you finally get fed up and demand basic safety, you're told you're not being compassionate enough. Now, San Francisco officials would tell you that the crime is down. Crime is down, guys. They'll point to statistics showing violent crime dropped 10.3% in the Southern District over last year. But here's my question nobody in the city government wants to answer. Is crime down because of city policies or because residents spend $820,000 a year on private security? Even the city supervisor admits it might be the private security that's making the big difference. So San Francisco is essentially taking credit for crime reduction that residents paid for themselves. The city failed to provide basic safety. Residents hired their own security. Crime went down, and now the city wants to claim success. This is the ultimate scam. San Francisco collects billions in taxes, fails to provide basic services, forces residents to pay for their own solutions, then magically takes credit when those private solutions actually work. And here's what makes this even more infuriating. The city's homeless and supportive housing department confirmed they gave the benefit district $600,000 out of the $850,000 spent this year. So the city is essentially admitting that they can't do the jobs themselves and they're outsourcing public safety to private organizations. But wait, it gets worse. While San Francisco has been cracking down on homeless encampments in some neighborhoods, they're actually not solving the problem. Wow, who would have thought? They're just pushing it around. And one of the places seeing massive surge in homeless people in San Francisco is, get this, the international airport.
There's been a surge in the number of homeless people at SFO. Airport officials say the average number of homeless people each week.
The average number of homeless people each week at both the airport and San Francisco BART station has nearly doubled since last year. Airport officials are dealing with 414 homeless people per week now. Compare that to 222 just last year. That, my friends, is not progressive math. That's just moving the problem from one location to another.
She blames San Francisco's aggressive homeless crackdown for pushing people into neighboring cities.
So San Francisco's solution to homelessness is to push people out of tourist areas into the airport and neighboring cities. They're not actually helping anyone. They're just playing a shell game with human beings, moving them around so they seem less visible to tourists and wealthy residents.
They have been cracking down, and there's a lot of people that are just like finding other places to go. I think it's ridiculous. It's like homelessness is becoming illegal.
This homeless man is exactly right. San Francisco hasn't solved homelessness. They just made it illegal in certain areas while refusing to provide real solutions. So people get pushed from neighborhood to neighborhood, from city to airport, from one BART station to another. Now, here's the part that should make every taxpayer absolutely furious. San Francisco spends over $1 billion per year on homelessness. Let me repeat that. Over $1 billion per year. And yet the problem just keeps getting worse, not better.
We will take a hard look at our funding streams and our relationships with nonprofit providers to make sure we are getting the most from the $1 billion we spend on this crisis every single year.
Where, my friends, is all the money going? Well, according to the investigation, there are more than 200 nonprofits working with the homeless that are funded by city agencies. At least 5 different city departments working with the homeless population. There are 4 separate government bodies claiming to hold department accountability.
We have 9 different street teams spread across 5 different departments, and they aren't communicating as well as they need to be.
This is what happens when you throw money at a problem without accountability or coordination. You create a massive bureaucracy that exists to perpetuate itself, that's not actually solving problems. The report found that coordination is poor.
But I like it this way so I can fast forward it.
Anybody else.
I don't have commercials.
So you have hundreds of organizations and thousands of employees all claiming that they're addressing homelessness, spending over $1 billion a year. And the problem magically just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Apparently, you know what works? The private security that residents paid for themselves. When you have professional security who are allowed to enforce rules and remove people blocking sidewalks, neighborhoods, guess what? Become and feel immediately safer. The south of the market residents didn't want to hire social workers or addiction counselors with that $820,000. They didn't want to fund community outreach programs or restorative justice circle bullcrap. They hired security guards to actually do what police are supposed to do: enforce basic rules and maintain public order. And guys, San Francisco, get this, it worked. Crime dropped. Businesses feel safer. Residents can walk in the street again. This proves that San Francisco's problems are not unsolvable. They're just unsolved because the city chooses not to solve them. We saw this. This is the homeless industrial complex.
When is it going to stop being at our expense? I like to say that compassion costs, and we're running out of money.
This resident asked the perfect question. When is it going to stop being at our expense? When will San Francisco stop using their neighborhood as dumping grounds for every social problem in the city? When will the city actually do its job and provide basic public safety that residents already are paying for? America, the south of the market neighborhood's $820,000 private security expenditure is the ultimate indictment of progressive government. These residents are paying twice, once for city services that didn't work, obviously, and again for private services that actually do work. San Francisco spends over $1 billion per year on homelessness across 20 different nonprofits and 5 different city departments with, get this, zero coordination, zero accountability. Meanwhile, residents who just want to walk safely on their own streets have to hire their own security because the city has completely abandoned them. This is what progressive policies create, a two-tier system where wealthy neighborhoods can buy their way out of problems that the government creates, while everyone else is stuck living in the consequences. And the city has the nerve to take credit for crime reduction that the residents paid for themselves. The South of Market residents have proven that safety is achievable when you're willing to enforce basic rules. You don't need $1 billion bureaucracy filled with BS or 200 different nonprofits. You just need security who will remove people blocking sidewalks and maintain public order. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
All right. That was, San Francisco's a shithole. We all know that. Let's keep it moving. We got an add-on that I wanted to see here. So let's check this out. Oh, the sound. You see, yeah, it just pisses me off with StreamYard. They always mess up the sound of the videos. Always. It's never a day that they don't fuck up. It's always they fuck up. All right, here we go.
First, Father Christmas doesn't come for another 14 days, but the Christmas Grinch, well, he's arrived early in Melbourne. The Grinch, by which I mean the Hume Council, has ordered a family to take down their Christmas light display, despite the fact everyone in the neighbourhood loves it.
Stephen Jacobs' home is the light of Huron Road, a dazzling Christmas display, but Hume City Council isn't happy.
Well, they're a bit like this Grinch here, eh? Christmas Grinch. They're ruining the fun for everyone. I received a letter in the mail saying I had 21 days to remove my items out the front. Well, it says $9,120 fine.
And if the nature strip feature goes, Stephen says he'll take down the whole display, something neighbours don't want.
Stephen Jacobs' crime? Well, he was given verbal consent but failed to get written permission to have his magnificent Christmas light display extend onto the nature strip. Jacobs said he'd spent thousands of dollars and 2 months putting the Christmas display together after speaking with 4 different council officers about his plans. Well, now he's been threatened with a $9,000 fine if he doesn't pack it all up by December 23rd. Although, Caleb, I'd have to say, the fine would probably be cheaper than paying the power bill.
Well, that may well be true. The bloke's got rheumatoid arthritis as well. So he's gone to a fair bit of effort to do this.
Wow.
And the council has still taken it upon itself to go along
'cause
and
they
say,
don't believe in
take the
Christmas.
thing down or you'll be fined $9,000. I mean, we talked about that poor old lady in Ballarat the other night where the council wants to fine her $500 because they don't like that her garden is 40 centimetres larger than it should be or something. They're threatening him with a $9,000 fine because he put some removable Christmas decorations up on a nature strip. I mean, is the council doing anything to maintain the nature strip? In most cases, they do very little with the nature strip. If you ask them to come and mow it, they say mow it yourself. I mean, if he wants to put some Christmas lights on it that brings some joy to some people, why do you slap the bloke with a $9,000 fine?
And the fact that he got verbal confirmation, he consulted with the council, he did everything right. In fact, I would say even consulting with council officers, no less than 4 of them, is actually above and beyond what a normal person would or should do. He's gone out of his way to appease them, but the bureaucrats at these councils, honestly, we talked about it the other night. They need to be studied. Who is it sitting at Hume Council who decided, yeah, this guy who consulted with 4 of us, who got verbal permission, who isn't bothering anyone, let's threaten him with a $9,000 fine unless he takes his decorations down before Christmas Eve.
You know what I don't get about this,
Wow,
right? Is
that's
that he's
crazy.
been given effectively 14 days to pack it up, which would be 2 days before Christmas. So if you're going to give him 14 days, which goes to December 23rd, why not just give the guy 16 days, 17 days, so he can have it to Christmas and then say, okay, put it away and don't do it again. That would have been the smart move.
Because it's the principle of it. And the principle is that you've just got to be an absolute pain in the backside. That's what the council believes. And he said, by the way, that when he spoke to these council officers, they told him that he didn't need explicit permission, i.e. he was led to believe that he didn't have to write to anyone, that the word he had of the council officers he'd spoken to was enough to say it would be okay to do it. And then they slap him with a $9,000 fine. Honestly, find better things to do with your life. If you're one of the people at Hume Council who has overseen this and has been part of it, look, I'm glad I'm not coming to your family Christmas, put it that way.
Yeah, I have weird feelings about that. Like, why you gonna find them $9,000, right? And then make it that he has to take it out and take them down before Christmas Eve on the 23rd. That oh my God, this is just boils my blood, Australia. Boils my blood for you guys there down under. And let's keep it moving with another episode of Tyson de la Cruz. So let's set this up and let's watch.
Lennon is a convicted armed robber. A jury in 1999 found him guilty of robbing 2 taxi drivers. Mamdani says that nobody's perfect.
America, you're not going to believe this. While New York City is staring down a budget deficit between $5 billion to $8 billion, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani is out here begging for millions of dollars to fund a 400-person transition team that includes convicted armed robberies as criminal justice advisors. This guy hasn't even taken office yet, and he's already proving he's the most fiscal, irresponsible mayor in New York City history.
We put together a team of more than 400 New Yorkers who are on 17 different committees. And these are New Yorkers who bring with them both a fluency of the policies and politics of the city, the places that they've succeeded, the places that they've failed. And we will take all of their experiences and their analysis into account as we build a city for each and every person.
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is what happens when you elect a democratic socialist who's never ran anything in his life, and he thinks taxpayer money grows on trees and hiring gangsters to advise criminal policy is somehow a good idea. Let me break down this absolute insanity of what Zohran Mamdani just did. He appointed a guy named Monsoon Lennon to his criminal justice transition committee. Now, many of you are probably asking, Tyson, who is Monsoon Lennon? He is a 49-year-old convicted armed robber who spent 7 years in state penitentiary for being part of a vicious robbery crew that terrorized cab drivers in the Bronx. This wasn't some minor offense. This was a guy part of a crew that pulled off multiple armed robberies, including one where they robbed and stabbed a cab driver named Joseph Aziri on June 8th, 1997. They also robbed another cabbie at gunpoint on March 30th, 1998. Monsoon faced up to 25 years behind bars before taking a plea deal. And now, all of a sudden, because he did time, he wants to be a quote-unquote community activist. Just because you got caught doesn't mean you're qualified to advise the mayor on criminal justice policy. How does a gangster, a criminal, get rewarded with a position on a transition team? What in the flying crap is going on here?
Mayor-elect Mamdani said last week that he would stop the NYPD from cracking down on homeless encampments. That sparked controversy. Well, today he met with business leaders and homeless advocates.
This has been one of the biggest issues facing New York City for decades. How do you find housing for so many who don't have a place to live?
So he's hiring convicted criminals to advise him while promising to let drug addicts and mentally ill people camp out on sidewalks. This, my friends, is his vision for New York City. Now here's where the story gets even more disgusting. The widow of Joseph Aziri, the cab driver who was mugged by Massan's crew, was absolutely appalled when she learned about his particular appointment with Zohran Mamdani. And her reaction perfectly captures what every normal person thinks about this particular decision. She asked, "Are you crazy? Somebody that committed that kind of crime, and then you make him an advisor on criminality? Please." To me, he's no good, she says. Why would you give him a position like that? According to this article, her husband died of a heart attack last year and said that he never shook the trauma of the robbery. Think about that. This guy spent the rest of his life traumatized by Masan and his crew, and now Mamdani is rewarding Masan with the prestigious position advising the mayor of New York City. The widow said her husband would have protested against this appointment. She said, "Let him advise people on how not to be criminals, not advise the mayor on criminality." But Zohran, thank you, come again, Mamdani doesn't care about the victims. He doesn't care about the cab driver who was traumatized for life. He doesn't care about the widow who watched her husband suffer from trauma until the day that he died. All he cares about, guys, at least in my opinion, all he cares about is virtue signaling and proving how progressive he is by hiring convicted criminals. And here's the thing about these so-called violence interrupters. We talked about it before on this channel. It is a complete grift. Cities across America are hiring former criminals and gangsters with taxpayer dollars to supposedly interrupt violence in their communities. But what they're really doing is hiring thugs and gangsters on the public payroll to do more gangster crap. Masan rebranded himself as a violence interrupter after getting out of prison. He founded a nonprofit called Rising Kings that teaches classes to inmates at Rikers Island. And now he's being rewarded with a position in the mayor's transitional team. This, my friends, is the progressive playbook. Commit crimes, go to prison, and rebrand yourself as a community activist or violence interrupter, and then get hired by a progressive politician who wants to prove how compassionate they are. Meanwhile, the actual victims of these crimes get forgotten and ignored. The retired NYPD chief of the department, John Schill, said it perfectly. It's just another appointed advisor that has a questionable past, which is in line with some of the other recent appointees who are anti-police and anti-establishment. The optics and the reality here to point a potential erosion of public safety in New York City. And that is exactly right. Mamdani is building an advisory board based on criminals. He's surrounding himself with people who have spent time in prison, who have victimized innocent New Yorkers, and who fundamentally don't believe in law and order. Now let's talk about the financial disaster that Zohran, thank you, come again, Mamdani is walking into. New York City is facing a budget deficit between $5 billion to $8 billion. The Citizens Budget Commission, a nonpartisan fiscal watchdog, said that while the city's November 2025 financial plan update shows stronger than expected revenue, significant spending gaps remain. The CBC said that at least $4 billion in annual planned spending remains unfunded in the coming years, including roughly $1 billion for rental assistance through city fees and $600 million for homeless shelters. So Mamdani is inheriting a city with a massive budget deficit, underfunded programs, and serious fiscal challenges. And what's his response? Beg for more money.
I hope very soon not to have to ask you for money. But until then, I'm asking.
Beg for millions of dollars to fund a 400-person transition team that includes convicted criminals. The fiscal watchdog warned that Mamdani will need to close a $5 to $8 billion budget gap while preparing for federal cuts and advancing his priorities. But instead of focusing on fiscal responsibility, he's building a massive bureaucracy of transition team members who will all expect to be rewarded with city jobs. Let's talk about this 400-person transition team. Zohran, thank you very much. Mamdani has appointed 400 New Yorkers across 17 different communities, including a 20-member criminal justice team. This guy needs millions of teams of maybe 50 to 100 people. But Zohran, thank you very much. Mamdani needs 400 people. Why? Because he's building his socialist machine. He's rewarding political allies, his activists and supporters with prestigious positions on his transition team.
Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani met this morning with real estate leaders and members of the Partnership for New York City to figure out ways to cut red tape when it comes to housing the homeless.
It takes 252 days on average to fill an affordable housing unit, which in the most expensive city in the United States of America should be the easiest thing that we do.
And you're probably asking, what are these 400 people going to do? According to Mamdani, they're going to help build a city for each and every person, whatever the heck that means. That's progressive code for massively expanding government spending on social programs while ignoring the fiscal reality that the city is going broke. The city council speaker and financial committee chair are already sounding the alarms. They said in a joint statement that placing tens of millions of dollars in future budgets without a clear path could contribute to growing budget gaps and leaving funds unused. Even the city council, which is controlled by Democrats, is calling out Mamdani's fiscal irresponsibility. That, my friends, is how bad it is. When your own party is warning you about budget problems before you even take office, you know, thank you very much is in trouble. And you know what? Congratulations to Zoran Mamdani. Good for him. He wants taxpayers to pay for permanent housing for homeless, not temporary shelter, not transitional housing, permanent housing paid for by taxpayers who are already struggling with the highest cost of living in America.
The question, however, is whether we will be satisfied by just shuttling those New Yorkers to another equally cold place in our city, or whether we want to connect them to housing.
Sounds compassionate, right? Except he's not talking about helping people getting back on their feet. He's talking about giving people free, permanent housing with no requirements, no accountability, and no expectations that they'll ever become self-sufficient.
David Giffen is the executive director of the Coalition for the Homeless and says other mayors have failed to connect the homeless to housing. He hopes that isn't the case with Mamdani's team.
What we're hoping is that this current administration will really pull those two things together and reduce all those administrative obstacles, create more permanent housing, and focus on getting homeless individuals and families moved into apartments. That's how you solve the problem.
The Coalition for the Homeless is praising this approach because they're part of the homeless industrial complex. They make money off of homelessness. This is the grift. The more homeless people there are, the more funding they'll get. They'll have zero incentive to actually solve the problem. And here's the reality that Zoran Mamdani doesn't want to talk about. New York City already spends billions of dollars on homelessness every single year. The problem isn't lacking funding. The problem is that progressive policies enable drug addicts, mental illness, and dependency instead of requiring accountability and treatment. And while thank you very much, Mamdani is promising free permanent housing for homeless people, a new report says that more than 40% of New York City families can't afford weekly food costs. Let that sink in. Working families who pay taxes and follow the rules can't afford to feed their children. But Mamdani wants to give free permanent housing to people who refuse to work. 1 in 3 New Yorkers and 40% of families do not have enough money to feed their household. That's according to a poverty tracker report released by Robin Hood and Columbia University.
And this is not just, an instance of extreme economic deprivation, but rather working people that, are gainfully employed and are still finding that their wages can't keep up with these rising food prices.
But Mamdani's priority isn't helping working families. His priority is giving free housing to homeless people and hiring convicted criminals to advise them. And let's not forget that, thank you very much, Mamdani has already announced that he's going to stop NYPD from clearing out homeless encampments. He thinks it's inhumane to remove people from sidewalks and parks.
Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani is addressing the affordability and housing crisis plaguing the city while defending his stance on homeless encampment suites.
He's getting a lot of pushback on it.
Mayor Eric Adams warned that human waste and drug paraphernalia will increase if Mamdani stops clearing out these encampments. Governor Kathy Hochul said allowing New Yorkers to sleep on sidewalks and under bridges is not a humane solution.
Mayor Mamdani ensures that we connect those New Yorkers with actual housing. We have to look at the efficacy of the Adams administration's policy on this. It is a policy that did not connect a single New Yorker to permanent housing in an entire year. That cannot be a policy we continue.
But the rapper turned mayor.
We running this.
No, not this shit again.
Care what the outgoing mayor or the governor thinks. He's going to let homeless encampments spread across the city because that's what his progressive base wants. Never mind that it'll destroy the quality of life for everybody else.
Well, New York Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani is encouraging residents to know their rights dealing with ICE agents.
And on top of everything else, Mamdani is also encouraging New Yorkers to resist ICE enforcement. Of course he is. So he's going to protect illegal immigrants from deportation while letting homeless encampments spread and hiring convicted criminals to advise them. This is his vision for New York City. America, Zoran Mamdani hasn't even taken office yet, and he's already proving he's going to be the most fiscal irresponsible mayor in New York City history. He's begging for millions and millions of dollars to fund a 400-person transition team that includes convicted armed robbers as criminal justice advisors. New York City is facing a budget deficit up to $8 billion. Working families can't afford to feed their children. The NYPD is losing 316 officers per month. And Mamdani's priorities are hiring gangsters, stopping homeless encampment clearance, and giving away free permanent housing with no accountability. The widow of the cab driver who was robbed by Mamdani's new advisor asked the perfect question: are you crazy? That is what every New Yorker should be asking right now. Are you crazy for electing this guy? The Violence Interrupter program is a grift. The 400-person transition team is a socialist machine. The permanent housing promise is a fiscal disaster waiting to happen. And the decision to hire convicted criminals as advisors is an absolute insult to every victim of crime in New York City. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Yay! Tyson, Della King, thank you very much. Great video. It just makes me mad, that's all, you know? It's like $8 billion deficit, and yet this guy wants to hire a whole bunch of goons to be in his administration. I mean, I wonder how he's going to pay for all those people. That's crazy. All right, so we're here to the last video. We made it to the last video of the night. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for us. And it's coming from Jason A. Tonight it's Jason A. So let's go ahead and set this up and let's watch this episode.
Хочу, чтобы меня услышали и простые граждане западных государств.
What?
Вас сейчас настойчиво пытаются убедить в том, что все ваши трудности – это результат каких-то враждебных действий России.
What?
Что из вашего собственного кошелька надо оплатить борьбу с мифической русской угрозой.
What?
Все это ложь. А правда в том, что текущие проблемы, с которыми сталкиваются миллионы людей на Западе, стали результатом многолетних действий правящих элит их государств.
What?
Их ошибок, близорукости и амбиций. Эти элиты думают не о том, как улучшить жизнь своих граждан в западных странах. Они одержимы своими корыстными интересами и сверхприбылями.
И здесь опять лгут постоянно, извращают исторические факты, не прекращают нападки на нашу культуру, на русскую православную церковь, другие традиционные религиозные организации нашей страны. Посмотрите, что они делают со своими собственными народами. Разрушение семьи, культурной и национальной идентичности. Извращение, издевательства над детьми вплоть до педофилии объявляются нормой их жизни.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours full fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent.
To the people of the United States, for decades, Russia and the United States have stood on opposite sides of many disagreements. But history has shown us something important. When our two nations choose cooperation, the world becomes more stable, safer, and humanity moves forward faster. Today, I want to remind everyone of a simple truth. Russia does not seek confrontation. We seek mutual respect, equal dialogue, and genuine frameworks for cooperation. Our peoples have stood side by side during decisive moments in world history, and we can do so again. There are many areas where both Russians and Americans want peace: science, energy, security, space exploration, and the protection of the planet we all share. I believe the future will be more secure if we speak to one another rather than about one another. Russia is ready to open new paths of dialogue for the benefit of both nations and for a world with fewer conflicts. I hope this message will be widely shared, because peace can only begin with understanding between people. Thank you.
The people trying to kill Jews in Israel and throughout the world want to kill you and me too. Radical Islam is an enemy of mankind. What's the connection between Syria and Australia? Radical Islam. Radical Islam wants to kill all the Jews. They want to kill 2 soldiers from Iowa. This is a religious war. They hate us because we're Christians, we're infidels, and they want to kill all the Jews. To the Australian government, you let your people down. The man who was killed, the rabbi that was killed in this attack, wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Australia weeks ago asking him to reconsider recognizing the Palestinian state. To every Western government who's recognized a Palestinian state, you're rewarding killing Jews. It's the most irresponsible decision I can imagine. What state are you recognizing? Is it controlled by Hamas? What are you recognizing here? When you kill Jews, you get a state, you're going to get more killing of Jews. So I would urge the West to get tougher on radical Islam. The rabbi who begged the Prime Minister to reverse his decision to recognize the Palestinian state is now dead. And how could you not have better security given what's going on in Australia around a large gathering of
they
our
just brought
Jewish
them in
brothers
like
and sisters
nothing, bro.
on Hanukkah? As to Syria, would come here if they could. God bless President Trump for wanting to retaliate.
Yeah, I want to get back to Australia in a moment, but let me get to Syria in one more moment here, because are you questioning whether or not it was in fact a lone gunman from ISIS? Are you questioning that with what you just said about Syria?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it was a lone gunman. I want to know, what was this person part of the security forces? In Afghanistan, we have instances of where people we were working with wound up shooting our soldiers. What kind of vetting system do we have regarding the Syrian security forces? That's a major difference between being part of the security forces or a lone gunman. I don't know. I do support working with the Syrian government, but we relieved all the sanctions against Syria, maybe too prematurely. Look at the attacks in Sweden. The statements coming from the Syrian leadership about Israel disturb me. So I want to revisit whether or not we should have more leverage against Syrian government.
On Australia, this rabbi who sent the letter, are you saying and warning other nations not to recognize a Palestinian state?
I am telling you that if you recognize a Palestinian state after October the 7th, or you have not negotiated a new West Bank, a new Gaza free from Islamic
terrorist control, you're incentivizing killing Jews. The signal is you attack and kill 1,200 Jewish people, the world will recognize a Palestinian state. The best way to get a Palestinian state is to kill Jews. That's what the message is being sent from Australia, France, and Germany. France can't even have a Christmas celebration because they're worried about radical Islam in their midst. So President Trump is right to retaliate. And as to Gaza, I reject a board of peace. I reject rebuilding Gaza until Hamas has been disarmed and destroyed. So this idea that we would rebuild Gaza before Hamas has been disarmed and destroyed makes no sense to me.
So this is all radical Islam, Senator. What do you want to see from President Trump in terms of assisting Australia right now?
I want President Trump to make a speech about what we're facing. Obama and Biden were wrecking balls. Obama withdrew all of our forces from Iraq. I begged him not to. I took over in Iraq and Syria. Raqqa, Syria became a launching pad for attacks against the West. President Trump destroyed the caliphate. President Biden withdrew from Afghanistan, setting in motion radicalization of the entire planet, Russia invading Ukraine. President Trump has been dealing with a wrecking ball of Obama and Biden. What would I like to see him do? Give Israel the green light to go in and finish off Hamas, destroy Hezbollah. If you can't get them to disarm diplomatically in Lebanon, come up with a military campaign to take Hezbollah down. Work with Israel to do that. The world will never be safe as long as Iran has proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah. Do not rebuild Gaza. Do not invest in Gaza until Hamas has been disarmed. Stand with Israel without apology. Reject the idea that a Palestinian state is the right answer until the Palestinian state has been de-radicalized and demilitarized. What happened in Australia should be a word of warning. When you appease those who kill Jews, you get more killing of Jews. There's so much going on in the world right now. I really do appreciate President Trump. He has got a mess on his hands, from Obamacare to a broken border to a war in Russia, Ukraine, to radical Islam on the rise. I am so sorry to my Jewish brothers and sisters that the world is turning a blind eye yet again to those who wish to destroy the Jewish people. It seems to me that 80 years after the Holocaust, we should insist that the Iranian regime, which is the great evil to all of this, be dealt with. That we should destroy Hamas and Hezbollah to allow Saudi Arabia to recognize Israel. We have anti-Semitism in flames all over the planet, and we're not doing enough to push back.
Thank you, Jason A. What a great upload, right? Just weird living in weird times, man. Weird, unique times. Muslim Christmas. That's fucking crazy. I read that comment. I was like, oh Lord. It's that time of the night. Let me give a good yawn and get ready for it's time to go to bed. And it's time to wrap up the show. But thank you for those who came through. I truly appreciate you guys so much. And for those who rewatched, thank you. I appreciate it too. I hope you guys like the little lineup that I put up, because it's everyday news and news that I'm watching for the first time. So with you guys. So I hope you appreciate the lineup. And you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And catch y'all on the flip side. And so someone directed from Hallmark cards, not us. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, you guys don't touch those cards. They're responsible for, because they want the presentation and all that stuff. So like they know what they're doing. I'm probably Terry. I'll probably hit you up on Discord, because I'm probably gonna be going up there possibly Friday. I'm not 100% sure unless I wait until you like come downwards and I can meet up with you, or we'll see. We'll play by ear. But everyone else, have a good night. Truly appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.